Welcome to the AI Advantage Summit. My name is Mike Place, and I'll be your host for these next 3 days. And right now, we have over 600,000 people from more than 100 countries joining. Are you kidding me right now? Let's see all you beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful people. Look at everybody here. So amazing. And right now, you are a part of the largest AI event in history. So let's kick this thing off by telling me in the chat, where in this beautiful world are you joining in from? Let's see, where do we have people from around this beautiful world? Let's see in the chat. There we go, Sweden, Florida, there we go, Hong Kong, Ecuador, Florida, there we go, London, Canada, oh, Montreal, Pittsburgh, oh, I love it. And right now, we are standing in one of the biggest turning points in human history. Not someday, not in the future, but right now. And the choices you make with AI over these next 90 days can reshape the next decade of your business and your life. And this brand new event was created by two of the great minds in the knowledge industry, Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. And together, they have a combined 76 years of transforming people, businesses, and industries. They're known worldwide for helping people be more productive, more innovative, and more successful. And now they're bringing that same innovation to creating massive leverage with AI. And over the last 6 months, they've invested their time, their money, their resources to learn from some of the best. They've spent hours interviewing the top minds on the cutting edge of AI. And they took the most complex things and simplified them and created a highly curated 3-day experience. So even if you've never used ChatGPT before, or you're utilizing AI and you're ready for the next level, what you will learn in these 3 days will give you the AI advantage. So you're in good hands. Tony, Dean, they're here for you, and they're masters at meeting you where you are. And each day is very intentional in design and delivery. And today, it's gonna lay the groundwork for you, all right? And we're gonna start high level, and then we're gonna get more tactic each and every day. All right, so before I bring Dean out, a couple of quick logistics. Okay, first, the chat. The chat is your connection to Tony, Dean, and all of our speakers. Every comment you post shows up right here on the wall next to them. So we invite you to share your insights as you learn, because seeing your comment up on the wall could spark someone else's breakthrough. Okay, second, keep in mind, Dean, Tony, and all of our speakers can see you, and they can interact with you in real time. And this is why you need your cameras on. It's how they get to know you. It's how they connect with you. So make sure your cameras are on. All right, and third, this event has been designed to make every second count. Each speaker's content builds on the one before it. All right, there's an accumulation effect that's gonna take place here. So to miss a little is to miss a lot. So right now, can we commit to turning our cameras on and paying full attention through this 3 days? Hands up if you're all in for that one. Hands up. There we go. I got some thumbs up. I got some hands up. Love it. Okay, great. So together, let's turn off our phones, close out the extra browsers, and commit to making these next 3 days a powerful investment in ourselves and in our futures. Okay, and one last thing. This is not a motivational event, okay? This event and this environment have been designed to equip you with the capabilities and strategies to get you into action today, okay? And I wanna share a little secret with you, and Tony's already been teaching this for decades now, and neuroscience is starting to back this as well. It's when we learn new information with emotion or intensity, it actually stimulates the brain, and it helps us to increase the retention of the information. Energy anchors in change. So there's gonna be moments when you're gonna hear some music and some applause, kind of like this. Got some music going right here. There we go. Yes. And there we go. There's a little bit of music. Love it. Okay, so, and here's the thing. It's not there to just pump you up. It's actually there to support you in increasing your energy so that you can retain the information at a deeper level. So if you're up for increasing your energy over these 3 days, put a yes in the chat. Let's see who's up for playing full out over these 3 days. Let's see, Nicole's ready, Leslie's ready. There we go, Martin, there we go, love it. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Love it. So now, take a deep breath and get ready, because Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi are here live and they are focused to serve you. They're about to show you what it really means to gain the AI advantage. So cameras on, ready to bring your attention and energy. I want to share a quick video with you to help me introduce your guide for the next 3 days.
28 years ago, all I had was a camera, a dream, and the courage to press record.
I'm gonna turn the camera on myself. Hey, this is Dean and I'm driving.
My journey started long before that, in packed rooms with nothing but a mic and a mission.
I filmed wherever I could. No crew, no effects, just real words spoken from the heart.
I spoke to anyone who would listen because I knew one sincere, caring voice with the right strategy and tools could change a life.
Then the message grew. Cameras got clearer, the lights got brighter, the stages got bigger.
And those rooms turned into arenas and then stadiums. Audiences from all over the world hungry for change.
I learned to connect, to inspire, to sell, to serve.
I sat down with world leaders, game changers, people shaping the future.
2 different paths, same mission.
And then we joined forces.
We combined decades of experience.
And a shared obsession with helping people win.
And now we stand in a new era.
Where AI can clone our voices, our faces, and send our messages anywhere in the world.
From VHS to AI avatars.
The tools have changed.
But the mission never has.
This week, we're pulling back the curtain
over 3 incredible days
to discover how this technology can transform your business and your life.
We'd like to officially welcome you to the AI Advantage Summit.
It's time to take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one and only Dean Graziosi. Everybody give it up for Dean.
Thank you, Mike.
Sorry.
Hey, everybody. What's up, Martha? I see you, Adam. What's going, Amy? Jones rocking it out. Hey, Jennifer. Good to see you all today. Good to see you, Jason, Perry. Welcome to the AI Advantage Summit. God, what a perfect time in history to be here. We have the opportunity to take advantage of something. We are the first generation to go before AI and after. Hey, everybody in the chat, I see all you. I get to see your faces. Those of you on YouTube, I can see your comments as well. Thank you for showing up. You know, before we get started here today, you're here at the perfect time. I said that, but I also want to say we're kindred spirits. Most people want more out of life. Most people talk about doing more, taking uncomfortable action in something like AI. I know there's a portion that are brand new, people that are using it, some are experts, but it's uncomfortable. You got to take time off work. You got to shift things. It means we're kindred spirits because most people talk about it and you're here, and I want to honor you for that. And I want to tell you, every bit of this event was designed, believe me, sleepless nights for about a half a year to design today. So excited to have you here. Listen, here's the cool part. This is the largest AI event in history. We have over 630, Mike might have said it, we have over 630,000 people registered from all over the world. So welcome and congratulations. And if this is your first time ever having an event with Tony and I, you're going to realize, yes, we have a little more energy than usual, but it's how he helped me 30 years ago. But listen, the group that's here, some of you are AI curious, right? Some of you are dabbling, but you haven't gone deep yet. Some of you are using it every single day, but you know there's another level. And sometimes you feel a little behind or a little overwhelmed. That true? Say yes if that's true, or raise your hand. And just know, when we say yes or put it in the chat, this is how we interact. I wish we could all be in a big room with a couple 100,000 people, but this is how we interact. Because here's what I want to share. Wherever you are, take a breath. You're not behind. You're right on time, and you're in the right place. But it's definitely not a moment to waste. It's not a moment to say, I'll do this. You got to do it now. It's time to gain the ultimate advantage by using AI effectively. And to bring you what you're about to experience, you know, Mike already shared a little bit of it, but Tony and I spent countless hours in interviewing with over 50 of who we believe are the world's leading AI minds. They're the founders, the business owners, the educators. And we did our best to distill everything down into one mission. Making using AI to amplify your business and your life simple, actionable, and immediate. So whether and you can let me know by a show of hands or say that's me. So whether you're a solopreneur who's now wearing every hat, everything you do, you're doing, or you're a small business owner ready to scale, or you're a professional that wants to future-proof your career, or you're finally ready to start your own thing, I promise you, we built this for you. I see everybody. Thanks, Mel. Good to see you, Alice, Lori, everybody putting up the chat. The other thing, too, I don't want you to think myself and the amazing speakers that are going to be here today have ADD and we keep looking like this, but the big chat wall where we can see everything is over to the right. So know that sometimes, it's like squirrel, right? A little bit, but it's awesome. Listen, here's the truth. You don't need to learn everything about AI. That's the one thing that's freaking people out the most. You just need to know the pieces that can allow you to win on a whole new level. Let's start with this. I think we all can agree that if you had more time and the right help, you'd be more creative. You could earn more. You could contribute more. You could live more. And to the person you're meant to be, not settling to be. Is that true? Put your hand up. If you had help and time, you could go faster, right? Well, that's the foundation of this entire event, is how do we help you see that? In fact, Tony and I have a really big, bold goal for this event. And that's to help each member of this community, you, each buy 15 hours a week back. That's 780 hours a year. Collectively, this group, if we do this right, can save you millions of hours. And those hours can go back into your business, back into your health, back into your family, back into your creativity. Who's up for that part? Who'd like an extra 15 hours a week, right? This event isn't about motivation, and it's not about chasing 100 different tools, and it's not just going to be another webinar. It's an experience, one that's designed to change the way you work, the way you think, the way you lead in this new AI era. So let me ask you this question. If you've ever been in the middle of being super busy, or maybe feeling behind, or maybe sometimes we all feel a little overwhelmed, who's ever said, I wish I could clone myself? Or maybe you've said, I wish I could have 48 hours in a day. Raise your I see you, Caroline. 2 thumbs up, right? Raise your hand if you've ever said you wish more time in a day or a clone, right? Of course, me too. My hand's way up, right? Because more time is the foundation for more success. But here's the secret. Time alone isn't enough. When you combine more time with leverage, that's when you can truly accelerate your impact, your success, and your happiness. I know this equation works really well because I've had the chance to live it. Now, this event is about you. This event is not about me or Tony, but I want to give you a little context. For those 75% of you here today are brand new to Tony and I's world. That's the biggest ever, which we welcome. And those that are part of our family, so good to see you. But I want to share, I started with no connections, no capital, no college degree, just grit and a willingness to do what others wouldn't. And again, that's why I commend you guys. You're in this room. Most people should be. You're here. But over time and a lot of trial and error, I figured one thing out that changed everything. And it's something you'll see today. It's exactly what Jim Rohn always said and Tony Robbins always shared. And you should write this one down. Success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. If I could find people who had already achieved what I wanted and I model their patterns, well, why couldn't I achieve what they did and maybe even more, right? And over the last 28 plus years, through that obsession, I've built more than a dozen companies. I've generated over $2 billion in revenue, and I've been blessed to serve millions of people around the world. Not because I'm the smartest guy in the room, but because I kept recognizing patterns early, adapting fast, and then surround myself with people who made me better. And that's the opportunity we get to do together here today. And then years ago, my path crossed with someone who already had that all figured out, had it mastered, had that philosophy anchored into his soul. And that's the big guy, my dear friend and my partner, Tony Robbins. Tony grew up in a small apartment in California, sometimes without food. That's why he's so obsessed with feeding people. But yet he turned that pain into fuel. He dedicated his life to understanding what truly makes people thrive. Over 4 decades later, Tony has become one of, if not, in my opinion, the greatest teacher and strategist of all time, the GOAT of personal growth. He's helped millions transform their lives, from coaches, presidents, athletes, CEOs, and everyday people like you and me. He's built or invested, listen to this, more than 100 companies, generating billions of dollars annually. And through his huge heart, he's provided more than 1 billion meals to families in need. And literally, that's just a fraction of what he does. But what I love the most about Tony isn't the success. It's his obsession with service. It's addicting. It's why we're here today, because he never stops learning. He never stops pushing, and he never stops asking, how can I take what I've learned, what I know, share it with others so they can go faster? And that's the foundation of this whole event. I took a little minute to share that because I want you to know why we're here. Why are Tony and Dean in AI? Because this is what we've done. Together, Tony and I combined have 76 years experience in helping people achieve their potential. And we've seen just about every season, I promise you, from booms and busts, from technology revolutions to global shifts. And through it all, there's one truth that never changes. Those who adapt. Hear me on this one. That's why I'm so glad you're here. Those that adapt, those who learn how to create time and leverage, always rise. That's been our shared mission for the past decade. Find the best in the world, identify what their patterns are, simplify those patterns, and then share them with you all, especially if you're an underdog, right? And now we're doing it again right here with AI. And yes, Tony's here, and he'll be up in a little while to share one of my favorite trainings that is going to show you how to identify these patterns and use it in today's new AI world. Because at the end of the day, what Tony and I both know is technology is always going to change. The tools are always going to evolve. But human potential, that never goes away. And history makes one thing really clear. Those who recognize new technology early and use it to multiply their time, grow. And those that don't, get left behind. Think about this. As I was preparing for this event, to how I'd meet everybody where you're at, right? The brand new person, the dabbler, someone down the rabbit hole, how do we meet everybody? Not an easy task, but I thought about this, and I thought about us to simplify this world. Think of a farmer in the 1800s, right? With hand tools, planting an acre took about 40 hours, right? Then all of a sudden, the newest technology came out. What was the newest technology? A tractor. Same time, but gave the man a tractor, the newest technology, he could do that whole acre in 30 minutes. It's about a 50 times multiple, 50 times more productive. And the point that drives us to do this is a farmer back in the 1800s. If one had a tractor and one didn't, could the one without a tractor compete? Yes or no? Right? Could the one without a tractor compete? Raul, thank you, right? No. And that's where we are in the world. Over the next year, not the next 20, the next 6 months, you're not going to be able to compete if you don't have a tractor in our world. It's AI. That's the latest technology. Not trying to oversimplify it, but that's where we're going, and that's why we are so passionate about getting everybody caught up to speed. You know, leverage. What is leverage? When we talk about leverage, leverage is pretty simple. It's either walking upstairs or walking up an escalator. Same amount of effort, but if you walk on an escalator, you go a lot faster, right? And that's what leverage has done for people throughout time. And what's done that? Yeah, which we talked about it. New technology used effectively. The wheel, the tractor, electricity, the telephone, the internet. Those who got out in front and adapted fast won. And those that waited, like I said, history wasn't so great to them. And now that's just AI. But here's the difference and why we felt called to do this. And yes, we are starting off with strategy, and we will work over these 3 days to get more tactical and give you takeaways. But we want to bring everybody into the same place. Because here's the difference this time. The adoption cycle is no longer years or decades. It's not even months, it's weeks. But here's the good news. As I said earlier, you're here before the world fully wakes up to mass adoption. Yet, you got to hear this. I think this is, and so does Tony, that this is your last opportunity to be early. It is now. And I know you feel it. It's why you're here today. So remember our bold goal for each of you. We want to show you how to get back 15 hours a week. That's millions across this community. That's a huge goal. We're going after it. And wherever you are in this AI journey, right? Like I said earlier, you might be the beginner. You might be dabbling. You use it. Or maybe you're a builder. You're down the rabbit hole. There is another level waiting for you. And that's been our obsession, to simplify and achieve over these 3 days. So here's what we're going to do over these next 3 days. Day one, you're going to see how the most successful people use time and leverage as the foundation for next level success. Duh, everybody knows time and leverage helps, but we're going to show you how to utilize it through the examples of AI to start reclaiming that time and go faster. On day two, ooh, it's going to be so good. You're going to discover how AI can multiply your creativity, your communication, your marketing, your brand, and transform doing hours of work into minutes, taking ideas, making them reality. Day three, you're going to learn how to implement your biggest takeaways with proven systems, frameworks that'll make sure this AI advantage lasts way beyond this event. And the cool part, out of all the interviews we did, we hand-selected who we feel are the best, the smartest, but are pragmatic and practical to show you exactly how to achieve this. But I looked up some stats as I was putting this presentation together. Did you know that 70% of solopreneurs fail within 5 years? And when you really go down the rabbit hole of understanding that, it's not because they're not smart. It's not because they don't work hard. It's because as they start to grow, they get pulled away from the work that actually allowed them to launch in the first place, right? They begin as innovators, creators, full of energy, full of ideas, full of passion. Maybe that's happened to some of you. But the weight of doing everything slowly takes over. Suddenly you're juggling maybe accounting or hiring or customer service or deadlines and chores. And you're like, I didn't know all this. And all of a sudden, you lose focus. All of a sudden, before long, you're spending more hours in your business rather than working on your business. Here's some more stats that are pretty crazy. Did you know that 28% of the average work week is lost to email? Think about that. 11 hours immediately gone just on email, right? Most small business owners work 60 to 80 hours a week and still feel that they are behind, right? And 70% admit they spend more effort maintaining the business than growing it. Those are the stats that are holding people back from working on the creative. I mean, what happens? What is the outcome of that? Creativity fades, momentum stalls, and the business or the dream that started, unfortunately, begins to flatline. And that's where the real cost comes into play. Stagnation, burnout, and missed opportunities. Businesses don't fail because their founders lack skill. They fail because they lose space to think, create, and lead. That's why we're here. It's one of the biggest reasons to help you reclaim that resource, that creativity, that innovation, to start, to launch, to scale, to protect, to offload the repetitive, the draining, the mind-numbing tasks that keep you stuck. So you can focus on the few moves that actually multiply your growth, your impact, and your success. So many times I feel blessed today. I have family. My wife's here. My oldest daughter's here. And sometimes she'll say, Dad, you're so good at a lot of things. I'm like, no, not really, hon. I've just found a way to be really good at a few that move the needle. And I'm able to offload the things I'm not good at. And AI allows us to do that now more than ever. And now, I just want to share. A lot of people can make promises about what we're going to share. But proof matters. Wouldn't you agree proof matters? I just want to share that Tony and I, we've done this before. Taken overwhelming things that are hard and decoded them, found the patterns, and then made it simple for people to achieve. In real estate, I simplified the path because that's where I started in real estate. So I showed regular people how to build wealth and buy their first house and was blessed to touch the lives of millions of people. In finance, Tony decoded billionaires and wrote Money Master the Game. It impacted the world. In health, Tony worked with over 100 of the world's top medical pioneers and created Life Force. And that still has a ripple effect around the world. We created mastermind.com, which is one of the largest content platforms for creators. And now our obsession is to go learn from the best and help you do the same thing with AI. And I'm going to say this really clear. Our gift is not being the tech guys. Our gift is pattern recognition, simplifying what's complex. So, before we did this event, we sent out a little survey of what is the main reasons that you're being held back from utilizing AI. And the 3 big reasons, I think they'll shock you, but I want to go over them really quick because you might fit in one of these. And if it's you, put me in the chat or raise your hand. Here's the crazy one. Number 1, I don't have enough time to learn it. Isn't that ironic? The number 1 reason people don't start using AI is the same reason they need it the most. We tell ourselves we'll get to it when things slow down. But if we're honest, when was the last time life actually slowed down? For me, for most people, I think the answer is never, right? Every day, without realizing it, we waste hours on things that keep us busy instead of productive. It's not that we don't care, it's that we're trapped. We're so busy doing what seems urgent that we never really get to the important things. But here's the truth. You can't scale chaos. If you're always reacting, you'll never get ahead. AI used properly gives you that margin back. It gives you that breathing room. It's like hiring a silent partner who can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the stuff that drains you so you can finally focus on what lights you up, the high value moves that actually grow your business or your career. People don't fail because they're not smart or they're not driven or they're not hungry. They fail because they run out of time. And that's why we're so obsessed on helping you find time. Let's bring up Galen. Galen was a coach drowning in details. She was hesitant when we had the chance to talk to her. She was very resistant at first. She spent hours digging through notes, trying to remember what her clients needed and where she left off with them. Then she finally brought AI into her process. It now listens, it organizes, it summarizes, it drafts, it does follow-ups automatically. She saved 9 hours a week just on this one application, and she said it's running 5 times more powerful. Those are the types of things that make you and allow you to buy time back. And again, some of you are going, duh, I already do that. Some of you are like, how does that work? I promise we'll bring all of this together. We'll land the plane together over these couple of days. The second reason people say that they're not using it wisely is because they're not sure how to create leverage. Now, let's be real. Freeing up hours is great, but freedom without direction turns into distraction. If you don't know how to use time, then you just fill it with the same old stuff. That's where leverage comes in. We talked about the escalator, the difference between effort and impact. Leverage is how one person with clarity and the right system can outperform an entire team, right? Here's the truth. Most people were never taught how to multiply their outputs. Most of us are taught work hard, work harder. Working harder in this world is not enough. AI flips that equation on its head. It's the ultimate multiplier. It's like the moment in history and the farmer got the tractor for the first time. I could do 50 times more output. When you learn how to combine your unique human skills, your creativity, your judgment, your empathy that'll never get replaced with AI's speed, memory, and precision, you don't just get more done. You create exponential results with less stress. Let's look at Austin. He's a small business owner trying to do it all. I asked about the solopreneurs. A lot of people raised their hand. He's running his commercial lighting company. Endless hours creating quotes, contracts, proposals, even paying lawyers and consultants to keep up. Then he built his AI co-pilot. It handles his contract. It handles his pricing. Handles and creates his presentations. Austin saved thousands in overhead, countless hours every week, and now he's leveraged because he's going after bigger deals more confidently. I know these might be really simple examples, but this is what we want to anchor in before we get to our first guest, before we start going down this rabbit hole of training. I want to anchor this in to show you that AI is moving fast. I know it, and that was number 3. Number 3 was, it's moving so fast, I'm overwhelmed. If it's moving really fast for you and you feel a little overwhelmed, say yes, or put yes in the chat, or raise your hand, right? You're not alone. It's okay. What's cool about being, and we could always flash, maybe on the back screen you could see all the amazing people here for a minute, but this is all of you from around the world, right? And I get to see you. You could go back to the other background. We're trying to keep it cool. But what's cool is I get to see you and how many raise hands and realize you're not alone. And plus I see your chat on YouTube. Listen, I've had people say, Dean, I've watched so many videos on YouTube, still can't figure it out. Or I know I'm using it every day, but there should be more. Listen, it's totally normal. And it's exactly why most people hesitate. But here's the thing you got to hear, and hear me on this. Hesitation is the fastest path to being left behind. Every technology, every revolution around technology feels overwhelming at first. Every bit of it. I'm sure electricity, the phone, the internet, right? The same people that were once intimidated, though, they're the ones, once they learn it, start to thrive. Because you don't need to be a coder. You don't need to chase every shiny tool. You just need a playbook, a plan that makes it simple, step by step, and actionable. Because overwhelm isn't a lack of capacity. Hear me on this one. It's just a lack of clarity. And once you have clarity, confidence follows. That's what this event is about. Cutting through the noise and getting clarity. Let's meet Bianca. She's an executive assistant, who was extremely skeptical about AI. She just wasn't techie. And overwhelmed trying to balance a day job, her life, and her dream of owning a horse rescue farm, or ranch, I should say. Then she followed the same process you'll be learning over these next couple days, strategically entered her thoughts, her goals, her constraints, everything into ChatGPT in the right sequence, and everything clicked. What started as hesitation turned into clarity. She was able to get 20 hours a week back, and it's really cool that she bought her first horse ranch in October because of that extra time. Yeah, we should give her a heck yes or a hell yes for that one. So if we step back for a moment, what's really happening here? It's not that people don't see the opportunity. You feel it. You know AI, for sure, is the biggest shift in our lifetime, probably the biggest shift ever. But most are still stuck with those same three things. I don't have the time to learn it. I don't know how to leverage that time or what to even do with it. And I'm in total tool overwhelm. And we've seen this pattern before in every industry, in every economic cycle. But here's the cool thing. The people who rise aren't the ones who just hustle or just learn faster. They're the ones that find a framework, a simple, repeatable system that multiplies what you already do and deletes the stuff you don't want to. And we're not only going to show you how to overcome those challenges, we're going to help you with that plan. Now, before I share these next 4 pieces that are going to be the through line, as we call it, I'm pulling back the curtain of an event like this. We have a through line. One of our through lines is follow patterns. One of our through lines is this is just new technology. Another through line, don't chase every tool because it's going to overwhelm you. There is a foundational process that will get you all the time back and leverage, I promise you. That's a through line. Another one is these 4 strategies that I'm going to share with you, and you're going to see it in all the speakers. But before that, I want to play a quick 90-second video, and we should call these videos The Future's Not Coming, The Future's Already Here. A little glimpse of what's possible. Play that quick video.
What's up, everybody? So Dean and Tony probably told you this video is about AI, but the truth is, it's actually about tennis. See, I'm what you call a lifestyle entrepreneur, which means I work as little as humanly possible because I got a 9-year-old daughter and a really bad tennis addiction, and I'm not very good. So to me, AI isn't just about working smarter, it's about working smarter so I can play another match. The problem is, tennis can get kind of expensive. So I needed to make more money, and the American market is just a little bit saturated. だから、英語だけで販売するのではなく、日本語でも販売してみようと思ったんです。¿Por qué no vender en español? Oder vielleicht sogar Deutsch? Sehen Sie, das war ein Klon von mir, der in verschiedenen Sprachen spricht, damit ich überall auf der Welt verkaufen kann. Not only can tennis be expensive, but it can also take forever, especially when I play with my daughter, to the point where, honestly, I don't even want to make sales calls. So I don't. Instead, I use AI to schedule, transfer, and close deals for me. It sounds like this.
So, imagine this. You've got a business where AI like me is working for you 24/7. What would that kind of freedom feel like for you?
It would feel amazing. I thought this was more of like a trial thing, but it really feels like you're trying to sell me something.
Ah, I hear you. And you're right. This is a demo to show you what's possible. But here's the thing. I'm here to help you see if this is something that could actually change your life. If it's not for you, no pressure. But if it is, wouldn't it be worth exploring?
It would.
And my favorite part about tennis is posting my wins on social media. And on the rare occasion I lose, I simply use AI to make content that makes it look like I won anyways, like this. Who in the audience thinks they can beat me? I need a warm-up. So long story short, I use AI for everything that can give me more time to hang with my daughter and play tennis, even things like writing the script for this video. Game, set, match.
Give it up for Billy. So, Billy Jean's been a friend for a long time, and he has totally embraced AI to fuel his lifestyle. He truly loves time with his daughter, he's a lifestyle entrepreneur, and AI has worked that so well in his life. And when I show you those, some of you, again, I could do that. Some of you, maybe I could do that. Some of you, I could never do that. I promise all of you will get to things that'll work in your business if we approach this right. So now let's dive into the 4 levers of accelerated success. This is the same formula we've seen take confusion and make it clarity. With chaos into order and ideas that are a little scrambled into a scalable, predictable growth model. Because when you master these 4, AI stops being overwhelming and it starts becoming our greatest ally, your ultimate AI advantage. If you master these, you stop chasing time and you start compounding it. And don't worry, this is exactly what we're going to teach you over the next couple of days. Again, we obsessed over this for 6 months to start in a way to bring you through a journey from strategy to tactics. So stay with us. Don't miss a second. I promise by the time you leave, you'll go from AI confused, if you are, to AI confident. But let's get to these 4 levers. The first one is activate. Before AI can work for you, it has to know you. You see, most people open ChatGPT and treat it like a search bar, like a fancy Google, quick questions, maybe some random prompts of someone that told you should use this prompt. But the true power starts when you train it to think like you speak, think like you do, and to understand your goals, your business, your personality, your constraints. That's activation. It's where AI becomes more than a tool. It becomes your thought partner, your sparring partner, your second brain that works just a little more than you. Once it knows you, it starts anticipating you. And that's when everything changes. This isn't simply about automation, at least not yet. That's coming. This is about alignment. You're not replacing yourself. You got to look at it. We're expanding ourselves. Okay? Number 2 is acceleration. And this is the lever that separates good from great. You see, most successful people don't just work harder, they remove hesitation. Has anybody ever hesitated in your life and you feel like you missed an opportunity? Or is it just me? Say yes or put your hand up, right? When you use acceleration with AI, you get to make faster decisions because you have more clarity. AI gives you that clarity. It lets you analyze, compare, organize, test, and simulate faster than probably any team on earth. Imagine having an advisor who never sleeps, who never gets tired, and gives you data and perspective instantly. That's acceleration. Because when you can think faster, decide faster, and act faster, you create momentum that becomes unstoppable. Okay, next, once you are accelerated, now it's time to amplify. This is the third one. This is the third lever. Amplification means taking one spark, one idea, one draft, one video, and turning into 10, 50, and 100 outputs and still sounding like you. Think about this. In the past, creating took time. It took hours of brainstorming, journaling, outlining, editing, polishing. Now your AI, set up properly, can expand your vision faster than you could write or type. This is how you turn one idea into a full campaign, one podcast into a month of content, one conversation into a business plan, or a proven strategy to scale the business you already have. Amplification isn't about doing more work. It's about letting your ideas travel further without you burning out in the process. And the last one, and the final lever, the one that compounds all the rest, is augment. You should write that down, augment. Augmentation means using AI to extend your capabilities, to multiply your effectiveness without multiplying your costs, your stress, or the size of your team. It's like hiring 5 people overnight: a researcher, a strategist, a copywriter, a data analyst, and maybe even a project manager, all rolled into one digital partner. It doesn't just do the work. It helps you think better, act faster, and create at a level that you never thought possible. That's augmentation. That's the leverage. That's how you scale freedom. That's how you scale impact. And that's how you amplify your results. So, as I share with you these 4 levels, activate, amplify, accelerate, and augment, I want you to know something. These aren't just theories Tony and I made up because we were sitting in a room and had nothing to do. These are the exact strategies we discovered after working with the world's top minds in AI. The innovators, the founders, the researchers, the entrepreneurs, from billionaires to people who sold their first business, and everybody in between. People who've built billion-dollar companies, but also those that are using AI to launch a new company, buy back their time, amplify their impact, and live into the person they're meant to be. And here's the best part. Some of our favorites out of all the interviews, and they were all great, I mean that, and so many of you were on, but the ones that aligned with us, that could take really complicated things and share it in a way where everybody goes, I get it, are here today, are here tomorrow, and here the next day. And here's what I love the most. They didn't get paid to be here. They're not here for fame. They're not here, obviously, for the money. Every single one of them said yes to being here because they believe what Tony and I believe, that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to help real people like all of us thrive in this new AI world. During this event, you're going to see exactly how each of them embodies those 4 levers. So I'm glad you were writing them down, and then you'll see how you can implement them into your life. And like I said, whether you're brand new, you're dabbling, or already using AI every day, you're going to see yourself in their stories. You'll see what's possible for your business, for your career, for your creativity, and for your life when you stop dabbling and start building your own AI advantage. And by the end, you'll have a clear path of what to do next, I assure you. These next few days, you're going to watch yourself move, I said this earlier, from AI curious, maybe AI confused, to AI confident. From, I wonder if I could do this, to, heck yes, I'd be crazy not to do this. So here's what I'm going to suggest. Buckle in. Take notes. Don't miss a moment. Open up your mind. If it's below you, we'll catch up. If it's past you, we'll get you there. Because what you're about to hear could truly change the trajectory of the next decade. And with that, I'm so excited that we get to our first guest. Zach Cass has become such a vital voice in the AI conversation. What I love about Zach, he's not here to drown you with tech jargon. He makes this human. He makes something massive and intimidating, takes something massive and intimidating and breaks it down into actual steps to help you grow, to help you lead, to help you make more impact without losing the heart and soul of what you do. He's advised leaders, organizations, even governments on navigating in this new world of AI intelligence. But he's just as committed to the everyday person using this. And believe me, I say, when I interviewed him, I knew he had to be one of the people here. Zach's working with some of the top universities on the future of work, and he's also using AI to help protect the planet through conservation efforts. His new book, The Next Renaissance, drops in 2026, and his mission is clear: to prove hope and reason can absolutely coexist in the AI revolution. Let's play a quick sizzle reel so you can see a little more about Zach, about 30 seconds long, and then we'll bring him out to share.
I've spent 16 years on the front lines of artificial intelligence. I've seen what happens when machines begin to reason and when code starts to surprise its own creators. I helped build OpenAI when it was just an idea, a handful of people who believed that if we got this right, it could change everything. Since then, I've watched AI move from research papers to boardrooms, from prototypes to policies, and from curiosity to necessity. I've advised Fortune 5,000 leaders and governments who all ask the same question in different ways. How do we lead in a world where intelligence is no longer scarce? And after all these years, I've come to believe something simple, but powerful. Artificial intelligence is not the story. Humanity is. AI is the brush. Human potential is the masterpiece. What we choose to create now, how we lead, what we value, what we build, will define the next chapter of human history. Welcome to the next Renaissance.
Everybody, let's give it up for Mark. For Zach.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Dean, thanks a lot. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for having me. It's really good to, it's really special to be here, I will tell you. Listen, my mission is pretty clear to me at this point in life. It's to prove that hope and reason should coexist. And I'll admit that I was born with a rosy disposition. I came out of the womb believing that today was the best day ever to be born and tomorrow would be too. And then I lived a life that had evidence to prove it. And today I'll share with you quickly my vision for the future and how I think that you can thrive in it. Now, before I start with where we're going, I have to start with where we are. And where we are is an interesting question with respect to AI, precisely because it never was. If you'd asked most AI researchers what AI could do for most of AI's history, they would have said, well, never mind what it can do today, let's talk about what it can do eventually. And that changed in 2017 when 8 Google researchers wrote a paper, Attention is All You Need, a seminal paper that catapulted the industry forward because it proposed that we should be building models that think in parallel versus straight lines, much like the human brain. That led to incredible advancements in the technology. And then in June 2024, OpenAI's GPT-4o produced a model that could solve the Math Olympiad, a test to measure whether humans were good at pure mathematics. And it was at that point I realized I couldn't just show AI anymore. It was actually causing myopia. It didn't do enough. So now, when someone says, what is AI trying to do? I simply say this. We are building machines that possess human intellectual equivalence and superiority. This is how I best know to describe to anyone, be it my mom or Jamie Dimon, what modern AI is trying to do. Now, this gives you a frame of reference for what has come and what will come. What's more impressive, though, is how quickly we are doing it. In case you didn't notice, we went from building machines that could measure sentiment in a tweet in 2019 to machines that conduct multi-step, multi-environment research today. And that is breathtaking. That is a remarkable advancement in the quality of the machines. And somehow, more important than this is this. As good as the machines are getting, it is not even the most important trend in AI right now. It is in fact how cheap they are getting. And of all the trends maybe in science that I care about, it is the precipitous decline in what we call inference cost, the cost to run the models that I am most excited about. And I care about this for a lot of reasons. The first is it is the trend that suggests AI is actually going to be a utility, that the research itself will not be owned by a select few, the way we observe pharma. And if you're willing to believe that AI is in fact following the path of utility, then what you also come to appreciate is that any time in human history we have observed the utilitization or the commoditization of a critical resource, there has been an incredible economic outcome. This happened with water and foodstuffs and electricity and the internet. And in those cases, it took thousands of years or hundreds of years or at least dozens of years. And in AI's case, it's taken 5. 5 years for a very, very scarce resource to become very cheap. GPT-4 went from $60 per million tokens to $1.30. And that gives me, as much as anything else, hope that we are building something incredible for everyone to participate in. Now, given that we're building exceptionally smart machines and given that they're getting very cheap, then I can answer, Where are we going? And I will start by saying I don't expect anyone here to believe everything I'm about to say. It's okay. I'm not saying this because it's scriptural. I'm saying this because it's directional. I've spent a lot of time staring at this problem in an academic sense and in a practical sense. I've also learned that I am willing to argue these ideas a lot longer than you are. I have missed flights to defend myself. But that being said, I promise you that it is okay to disagree with me. I am presenting these ideas to give you a chance to consider a future that maybe you haven't yet. And I will start with what I think is fairly simple, and maybe I can convince you of, the integration phases of the AI revolution. How is this technology actually going to arrive in our lives? Well, the first phase is the one we're in today. Enhanced applications. You know this very well. This is, as best described, ChatGPT. It is the first and arguably most important AI-enhanced application ever. It reminds us that the technology is not sufficient. You must build the application that matters. And I'm reminded of this because we built GPT 3.5, the technology that powered the application, in June 2022. Anyone could have built ChatGPT between our launch date, November 30th, 2022, and that date. We did. And we reminded the world that you must build technology in ways that people understand and want to use it. And since then, we've seen this incredible Cambrian event. Tons of applications have flooded the market. Many of them you use today. Now, the cool thing about enhanced applications is that it doesn't require we change behavior very much, and you're going to learn from much smarter people than me today about how to use them. But it doesn't take full advantage of everything AI can do, not even close. And that introduces the next phase, autonomous agents. Autonomous agents have been made so much about over the last 6 months, year, and I will remind everyone first what they are. Station identification. Agentic AI is machines that can execute tasks and goals on our behalf across browser, across application, and across data lake. It is, in other words, a Siri that works. That's the best way I know to describe it to anyone. And agentic AI is really exciting because it can execute tasks and goals on our behalf, which means that we can actually start offering more tasks and more goals to a machine that it can do it faster for us. Agentic AI is very clearly here, and then the question is simply, how much do we afford to it? This presents one of my theories, the idea of the automation boundary. In a world where you could automate everything, where would you stop, is a question that I ask many people. And it's a question that you're going to have to answer at some point soon, both on a business basis and a personal basis. What do you want to automate, and what do you want to keep on your own? Now, agentic AI is going to do a lot of things. One of them is it's going to rewire the internet. The fabric of the internet is actually not going to be designed principally not for our eyes, the HTML internet, but eventually for our agents, which will lead to what I call a TXT or XML internet, a true information highway. And when that happens, we will start to see and appreciate what I can best describe as a natural language operating system. And the natural language operating system, in my opinion, will be marked by two major changes. The first, we will go from carrying our devices, laptops and cell phones, to wearing them. Watches, glasses, wallets, and rings. Now, I can bet you a lot that this is coming. When it arrives will depend on what we call the automation boundary or the societal threshold. And the reason I know it's coming is because every hardware company is working on this, and now lots of software companies are too. A very interesting piece of public domain, but that is not well known, is that Johnny Ive, the designer of the iPhone, who now works at OpenAI, is building OpenAI's first hardware product, and his intention is to build one that doesn't have a display. Johnny Ive believes that the future of personal computing will not require that someone stare at a screen. And that marks the other major change of the natural language operating system, which is that I think we will move from a world where you must learn how a machine works in order to use it, to a world where a machine is designed to know how you work. And this is exciting for all sorts of reasons, but not least of which is because I think it ends the digital divide. 2 billion people on Earth today cannot participate in society or economy because they do not know how machines work. And we are going to redesign fundamentally personal compute so that you are not left behind simply because you were never trained on a machine. Now, given this, given that we are building brilliant machines, given that they are getting very cheap, and given that we are on a path to seamlessly integrate the hardware that powers them into our lives, now I can present to you one of the biggest ideas that I talk about today, a theory that I coined in 2021, the theory of unmetered intelligence. Unmetered intelligence is quite simply the idea that at some point, the amount of compute that we have collective access to will make our individual cognitive ability pale in comparison. It's the theory that says intelligence is actually a resource, much like water and foodstuffs and electricity and the internet, and that just like those resources, it will move from very scarce to very abundant. This is a big, very strange idea. And I will start by saying what unmetered intelligence is not. It is not universal brilliance. I am not arguing that everyone will be smart. In the same way that the internet does not promise we will all do research, in the same way that literacy does not promise someone reads, unmetered intelligence does not promise that someone will harness it. It simply promises that everyone will have access to it. And what we do with it will define our outcomes. Now, there is so much that can be said, and a lot of people today are going to show you ways to harness unmetered intelligence, but let me tell you how I think the world is going to adapt and evolve to the unbridling of this incredible resource. The first thing that happens is what I can best describe as the expansion of human potential. We are on the cusp right now of a remarkable moment that follows in a long, proud tradition of the human experience. What one person can do today is about 90% more than what one person could do in 1995. It's about 400% more than what one person could do in 1960, and it's about 1,000,000% more than what one person could do in 1800. On a GDP basis, we are ripping. We are so impressive in terms of our ability to create value, thanks in large part to technology. And that's exciting because it means we are going to create a lot more, and everyone on this call is going to have the opportunity to do more than your great-grandparents could have fathomed. And somehow it's not even the most exciting part. The most exciting part of unmetered intelligence as it relates to the human experience is staring, I think, at the point where you ask yourself, how is the human experience rate limited? Because we just aren't quite smart enough. And if you think about it long enough, you will arrive at scientific breakthroughs. There are 10,000 people studying the cure for cancer today. That's it. Why so few? Well, it turns out when we're born, a certain number of us qualify for the job. After that, a certain number of us want the job. After that, a certain number of us get into school for the job. And after that, a certain number of us get the job. It's a very, very narrow aperture. And so we could sit around and say, well, gosh, I hope they figure it out, those 10,000 people. Or we could look for solutions. And one of the obvious solutions is, well, we could print more of these people. That would take hundreds or even thousands of years. AI presents an incredible breakthrough moment, an opportunity to ask ourselves not what it would happen if we had 1 million oncological researchers, but what would happen if we made 10,000 oncological researchers 10,000 times more productive? And that's happening right now. We discovered our first antibiotic recently because of AI. Our first antibiotic in 60 years. We split HIV out of DNA recently because of AI. In May this year, baby KJ received the first custom gene therapy to cure it of a previously immutable disease, thanks to, you guessed it, CRISPR and AI. And if that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what will. That is a thrilling glimpse into a world where we can massively reduce unnecessary suffering and increase joy. It is a glimpse into a world where our scientific breakthroughs are no longer theories, but rapid advancements. And the other thing that will happen as a result of this, I believe, is a massive deflationary event. And this is a very hot take. This is one of the things that people get most upset about when I talk about. In fact, someone recently asked me when I talked about a world where the cost of goods and services plummet, they said, have you ever even been in a grocery store? And I know, I get it. The cost of eggs today, a carton of eggs, is more than it was 3 years ago. And what I have to remind everyone who is upset about the theory of deflation is that it has never been less expensive to buy a carton of eggs, basically, in human history. We have become so accustomed to the world getting better, faster, cheaper all the time that when something gets slightly more expensive, we are very upset. And what I have to remind people is that we have more discretionary income than our great-grandparents could have imagined, and that we live a life of incredible abundance for the most part in the developed world. And when people push on this, what I realize is there are 3 cases against deflation, and they are housing, healthcare, and education. And what I have to remind people is those 3 things are not expensive because we don't know how to solve them technologically. They're expensive because we made it illegal to do so. We policied these things into oblivion, into a deflationary environment. And the most exciting thing about AI right now is we get a chance. We get a chance to do 2 things. 1, prove that everything in the world can get as cheap as the LCD screen in front of you. You enjoy so many things in this life that your parents could not have enjoyed at such a cost that no one could have imagined because technology was allowed to make it less expensive. And we get to make lots of things that way. And then we get to turn around to our policymakers and we get to say, why can't everything be like this? And we have an incredible opportunity right now in a world where you can fly across the country for $70, but a trip to the emergency room might actually bankrupt you. Everyone is going to realize that technology can, in fact, massively reduce the cost of being alive and flourishing. And that is an incredible thing that we get to do right now, is put pressure on policymakers to allow this incredible technology to do to everything what it has done to so many commodities. And the last thing is time. Dean's talked about this, Tony's talked about this, everyone is going to talk about this, but time and energy are your most critical assets. And my favorite theory of AI is its ability to make us more time rich. Graham Duncan describes young people as time billionaires, the theory that, in fact, they are richer than anyone else on earth because they have more opportunity to do more things. And what I am reminding people on this call is AI is going to present us an opportunity to actually ask ourselves, what do we want to do with our time? And my challenge to you all right now is to build a more deliberate relationship with your technology. Because I firmly believe that we are going to wake up at some point in the future, I don't know when, and ask ourselves, or get to ask ourselves, what do I want to do today? And I hope when that moment comes, we all know that the right answer is commune with friends and family, ideally outside, be it in places of worship, in town centers, in local places. And when we arrive at that place, I hope to God that we remember why we are on this earth. Now, given all this, the question is, how can you prepare? And again, a lot of people are going to show you tactically what you should do today. And I want to give you some of my principles for living in an AI-powered future. First, please anchor your mission, vision, and values. I started this talk by telling you my mission, and I say it to almost anyone who will listen to me because it reminds me of why I do what I do. And that's important because in a time when technology is constantly evolving, it is so easy to forget your mission. It is very easy right now in a world where we are selling adaptability to be a candle in the wind. And I am challenging you to not be that. I am challenging you to be more certain than ever about your why. Your mission, vision, and values should be anchored. And also, you should adapt your ways and means. And this is a big ask for many of you, because many of you have arrived at this place in life, a certain level of success, because you are very good at a thing. And that thing has carried you a long way, and you want to continue to do that thing. And my challenge to you is, does that thing actually serve your mission, vision, and values? Are you actually advancing your life because of that thing, or have you found comfort in it? And to the extent that you are willing to adapt your ways and means, to the extent that you're willing to listen to people like Ali K. Miller, who are going to show you how much more productive you can get, if you are willing to do that, then you will be much closer to actually achieving your mission, vision, values. And this is going to be true for people and companies. You are going to see a massive K-curve, a divergence between companies that insist that they do a certain thing versus companies that insist that they solve a certain problem, however it needs to be solved. Then I would encourage you to learn how to learn. The most popular question I get asked by young people, and actually parents, is what should I study in college, or what should my child study in college? And what they are asking is, how do I make a lot of money? That's what that question actually means. Now, I don't mind economic incentives at all. I want to help people make money. That's not an issue. The problem is, as the question is framed, my answer is actually terrible. It doesn't matter. There is no obvious answer to what you should study in order to maximize your economic outcome, because the correlation between your major and your economic outcome is rapidly declining. In fact, 3 months ago, for the first time in our country's history, the wages for a college-educated person are now equivalent to wages for a non-college educated person, which means that we are ungating economic access. And that's awesome. We should celebrate it. It also means that you should not go to college trying to optimize your economic outcome. You will not have success. So instead, what I say to young people is, one, remember the purpose of college is probably to make mistakes you weren't comfortable making in front of your parents. To that end, you should go have a good time and ideally go to a school with a good football team, or at least something that you can celebrate. But also, please study something you love. Study something that you are fascinated by, such that the act of exploring that idea excites you, not because it will get you a better grade, not because it will get you a better job, but because you want to learn more about it. And in doing so, what you will teach yourself is the practice of mastery. You will learn what it feels like to learn well. And the idea that what you are learning may not matter to your future employer will be less concerning, because your future employer probably cares more about your willingness and ability to learn other things anyways. And then lastly, design around things that AI cannot do. Now, everyone here is going to tell you all the things you should do with AI to make your life better, and I love that. You should do that. And lots of CEOs will ask me all the time, what should I do with AI? And what are the ways in which AI is going to change my business? Now, being non-obvious and a little counterculture and a counter-narrative, I'm going to stand here and tell you that the most interesting thing I think you can do after you've mastered the practices of some of this technology is consider the ways in which AI is not going to change your life. And having run this experiment hundreds of times with the global Fortune 5000, I have discovered and arrived at something with very high conviction, which is that I believe in a world where we are designing around the things that AI cannot do, such that we are building a moat around the technology. We are simply optimizing for humanistic qualities. Now, I arrived at this conclusion having done a bunch of research. I was studying brokerage roles. We quickly realized that no one picks their wealth manager anymore because they make them a lot of money. They pick their wealth manager because they trust them and they like them. We also discovered that no one picks their real estate agent because they get them a better price on a house. They pick their real estate agent, it turns out, because they like spending Saturday and Sunday with them. Go figure. Most people actually describe their favorite bartender not as being great at pouring drinks, but as being someone they enjoy hanging out with. Again, these services are quickly becoming places where we want community and friendship. And that's awesome. Now, I had always assumed that it would be a brokerage function that would commoditize. And then something happened in my life that quite honestly changed how I saw a lot of this. My father is an oncologist. He's been practicing cancer medicine for about 38 years. Very recently, he won a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Breast Cancer Association of America for his contributions. And growing up, I should tell you, I always saw my dad as a scientist, as a brilliant man who was curing lives. And I could point to these incredible outcomes and draw a line between how brilliant he was and life-saving treatments. During his time practicing breast cancer, the survival rate for this disease went from about 35% to 90%, which is in and of itself something that we should celebrate all the time as a testament to human achievement. We can and will do hard things to improve our lives. And I went to his award ceremony very excited to hear people talk about my dad, the brilliant scientist. I sat at a table in a gala room flanked by my wife and mother and sister, so excited to hear people talk about him and how smart he was. And just before he received his award, a patient of his came on stage. She spoke for 5 minutes. For the first 30 seconds, she described her patient outcome. She had survived breast cancer and gone on to live a long and fulfilling life, and now she was giving back to the community. And for the next 4.5 minutes, she talked about how my dad made her feel. She described getting a breast cancer diagnosis, the fear that came over her, and then the process of interviewing oncologists. She interviewed 3 oncologists, and they all provided her the same prognosis and the same treatment recommendation. And then she said 2 things I will never forget. She said she realized that the machine was now smarter than the doctor, that the science had progressed far enough that the machine could actually determine the next best action better than the doctor could. And then she said the thing I will never forget as long as I live, that the bedside manner is not a feature, it's the product. And that changed my life. I realized in that moment my dad was not important to the community because he was brilliant at this point. He was important now because he was kind and caring and courageous and compassionate. The same qualities I loved in him as a father, so too did his patients love in him. And I also realized that if medical oncology, which we have long exalted as the pinnacle of cognitive processing in medicine, could cognitively commoditize, then what role wouldn't? And I decided that as long as I lived, if someone asked, what should I get great at? What my father taught me is that soft skills that humanistic qualities are actually measures of human achievement. And if you can get great at anything, get great at adaptability and curiosity and empathy and courage and wisdom and humor. And what I realized, moreover, is that AI is not going to necessarily incline us to be more human. It may actually require us to do so. That unmetered intelligence will cause cognitive commoditization to the extent that we may actually be forced to be more human, not less. And the last thing I will say is this: you must also now lead with optimism. There is a lot of pessimism in the world right now. There is a lot of fear. And what I have to remind everyone when they tell me that the world is a scary, bad place is that it is not evidentiary. It is actually true that right now we are overexposed to negative information and underexposed to positive information. And as much as I can prove to you that the world is in fact getting better, the guttural feeling that it is getting worse is overwhelming. And so I will remind you, find the good news. Find the good news and talk about it. There is so many reasons to be optimistic about the world we are building right now. And moreover, it is no longer a nicety. It is no longer a fun Sunday passing to talk about a world that could be better. It is a moral obligation to your children and their children. It is a moral obligation to describe a future that can be better such that we can actually build it. And my hope is that together we can describe a future that we want such that our children can live in one that is unimaginably better than the one we have today. Thanks so much.
All right. So good. Hey, I want to share with you. Was Zach amazing? He's in the back there. Let him hear it in the chat. He has a brand new baby at home, like right out of the oven, brand new baby, and he still jumped on a plane. He had other stuff to be here. And I want to share this with you. We saw so many amazing comments. And in the YouTube channel, I saw people say, hey, get to some tactics. Teach me something I've never learned before. Here's what I want to tell you. Trust us. This is something Tony and I have been doing collectively for 76 years. This is about a strategy over 3 days to anchor in lifelong change. How has the latest hack worked for you? You can go find the latest hack on YouTube. You're not using it. This is a process, and we have over 8 speakers here that each have their own strategy. They each have their own tactics, and it'll get more detailed as we go. This is about building lifelong change. If you know Tony and I, a big percentage of you have, you know we obsess on delivering exactly what you need. Even sometimes you might not realize it to the end. So just want to say thank you, Zach. I know you're going to race home to see his baby. And I'm really excited to introduce someone very special next. Igor Pagani. Igor is one of the top educators in the AI space and one of those early adopters who has already impacted millions of lives in the AI space training. I had the chance when I first met him, I had the chance to spend a day with him with my family in Europe, and he just blew my mind. And not just because his depth of knowledge of AI, but how much he cares. He's gifted to take really complex things and make them simple. He's taught over 10,000 entrepreneurs, over 25 million views on his YouTube channel, and he's behind some of the world's most viewed tutorials on ChatGPT and MindJourney. Plus, he's lived in 6 countries, he speaks a whole bunch of languages, and he's just an all-around good guy. But what really hits home is that Igor had to figure this out on his own. And now his mission is to make sure nobody else has to go through the same struggle that he has. And even greater, he caught Tony and I's attention in such a big way. We were so impressed that we invited him to partner with us, and he did. So now we have joined forces, and Igor is our top AI educator. He's the guy that helps us lead. It's just so much fun. We have a quick little video, Igor, and then we'll bring him up.
My job is organizing the chaos that is AI.
Igor teaches people how to do things like build their own chatbots in 15 minutes and build custom GPTs. He's an AI educator. He's a tech enthusiast, video producer, self-taught coder, marketing expert, over 10 million views on his YouTube channel.
AI is an amplifier of what you already do.
We digest the complexity and the madness that is generative AI into formats that people can easily consume.
I'm beyond excited to be a part of the AI Advantage because I get to work with some of the best people in the industry and help everyone transition from the old world into this new era that is defined by AI.
Let's give it up for Mr. Igor Pagani. Thank you, Igor. Thank you.
All right, welcome everybody. It is my pleasure to give you some more tactical things, actually. I know Dean set this up and said there's going to be a lot of tactical stuff as we move forward, but let me tell you, I actually have some things, some views on how the world used to be and how it is going to be moving forward for you right now. But I want to set this entire conversation up before we get into the concrete things that you can do today. I want to talk about how things changed and how they are changing, because they are. I mean, you all are aware, right? Every great leap in human history came with tools. It came with technology. That technology usually does the same thing. It multiplies your capabilities. Let's look back a little bit, okay? Stone tools, when we got those, what happened? People could work faster. The printing press could multiply ideas. Google, all of a sudden you had all of the world's knowledge available to you like this. Okay, so 3 years ago, for me, AI clicked on the day that ChatGPT came out. I was lucky enough to be part of a community of people who were obsessing over this type of stuff. And I realized very early that I could go from thinking alone to actually thinking with a partner. This is what ChatGPT can do for you if you set it up correctly. I'll show you in a second how or what the idea behind that is. But at the end of the day, that acceleration, me realizing that I could be doing this, launched my YouTube channel, and it even caught Dean's and Tony's attention, and now we're in a partnership. Okay, so we're going to get into how to actually do this now, which I'm really excited about. But first of all, I need to tell you that I am not technical. I did learn the basics of coding, I did learn ChatGPT and all of these things around it, but you can do this too. It doesn't matter at what level you're at, what I'm going to show you now, everybody can do. Okay. Okay, so look, when I first saw AI, I figured to myself, I saw DALL-E in 2022. A friend of mine had a demo on his phone. It was an image generator that could create anything. And I told myself, man, this is not for me. This is technical. This is for engineers. This is for people who know how to use it, right? You see these tools, it seems simple on the surface, but then you use it and it's like, I'm not sure I'm getting the full potential of this thing. But what took me 10 years to figure out, with all of these different technologies that I've been learning throughout my life, it really only takes 10 minutes to start. Heck, less. This session, I'm gonna be here for another like 15 to 20 minutes for you, and I'm going to show you things that you can actually replicate right now. Matter of fact, if you open a new tab with ChatGPT and you wanna try out some of these things, you can, okay? And I bet that independent of your level, whether you're a complete beginner and you're here to figure out what the first step is, or you're somebody who's 2,000 hours deep, you will find something that is going to expand your horizon just a little bit. That is my hope within this little presentation. So let's look at that. And let me first acknowledge that, hey, there's a million tools out there. You know that. You've seen the YouTube titles. You've seen the Twitter threads. You've seen the email subjects. You've seen the people marketing it in a way where they say, hey, these are the 100 tools you need to know, otherwise it will fall behind. But I'm here to tell you that's not the right goal. It sells well. You put that up and people are like, oh no, I need to catch up. But like what really matters here, what really matters is you getting your time back. It's the theme of this event, and I truly believe this to be true. Because if you get your time back, it allows you to do more. It allows you to multiply the time that you have because it frees up your mind. And human potential is limitless, we all know that. And by getting time back, you can multiply your own potential. So my hope is that these next few examples, they're actually going to get you some time back. And again, we're not going to do that by introducing you to 100 tools. No, you actually just need the advantages that people in our society, in capitalism, have been getting through building big teams. They get leverage, they get more time by externalizing the things they're not so good at. So we're going to be kind of doing that, and AI can be doing that for you today. Okay, so here we get into the very first example. I want to kind of use this framework of looking at things how they used to be and how they are now and how they are like looking forward. Okay,
So the very first example that I have here for you, and this is a really good one, okay? I think this one is going to resonate with most people here. It's if you have something that you don't quite understand. Maybe you went to the doctor and you come back with like some document full of medical jargon. What are they even saying? Maybe you're working with a lawyer and you get like an email full of terms that you've never seen before. Heck, maybe even your friend is just telling you something technical, like maybe a sentence like, hey, oh, you're using these CRMs, but you should really be using a LLM to answer all of your leads. Like, what does that even mean, right? Some people might catch every word in there, but that's not expected. We don't grow up with that knowledge. They certainly don't teach it in school, that's for sure. Now, look, the old way of doing that, if you get, let's say, this medical report or this little message from your friend, would be by using Google, right? You open up a new tab on your phone and you start looking up terms, right? This medical report is just a combination of various terms. It tells a story, it tells something that's ultra relevant to you. You're determined to find out what it says, but like the tools that you have at your disposal, or that you had up until now, allow you only for the following workflow. You go in, you open a new tab, you open Google Translate, and you look up the first term. Okay, that makes sense. Now I understand this term. Cool, there's another 20. So you open up a new tab, you look up the next sentence or the next term. Maybe there's an article, you read that article. Okay, you're getting there. 5 minutes have passed, but you're still not getting the full thing, right? So a few taps later and another 15 minutes later, you might have a rough idea of what's going on in this medical document or in this convoluted message from your friend, right? Now, that's the old way. You might be able to figure this out in 20 minutes, but what you can do now, what I'm here to tell you that you can do now and you should do now is you can just drop that document into the free version of ChatGPT. You literally just drag and drop it. If you're on your phone, upload it, simple as that. If it's a message from your friend, you just copy paste it in, yeah? Once you do that, all you need is the knowledge that I'm about to give you now, that you can follow up with a simple little sentence, something we call a prompt, that says, explain this to me like I'm 14. Send. About 5 seconds later, it's going to analyze the entire document and it's going to summarize it in a few bullet points to you in the language that a 14-year-old would understand. Sure, you could do 8-year-old, you could do 20-year-old, but I really like 14 because it hits the sweet spot. Somebody who's out in the world already, who's in high school, but hasn't learned the complexities and the technical depth of something that like an MBA would bring, right? So just do that. Just drop your next like doctor's document in there, and what it's really good at, like, a lot of people are afraid of hallucination, right? And hallucination happens if you ask for concrete things it doesn't have in other situations. Here, it's just compressing. It's just compressing what you have in a document into a few bullet points. And then, if you're really, really in a rush, you could follow up with, hey, give that to me in 3 bullet points. And it's going to summarize maybe what is like 6 or 7 bullet points into 3. Amazing. That's a win right there. So before that might have took you 20 minutes, now it takes about 20 seconds. You read the bullets, you move on with your life. Right? And maybe, I'm not saying like there's no point in diving deep into the medical report, right? I'm just saying to get an idea about it, before that used to take a lot of time. Now you can be really quick with it, and it can reduce all sorts of complexity. Okay, so next up, I want to show you kind of a bit more of an intricate one, and one that even some of the nerdiest friends I have are not aware of, because you can do certain things with ChatGPT that you wouldn't have even imagined before. The one example before is something that you're probably doing on a regular, right? You're taking things, ideas, documents that you don't fully understand and you make sense of it. That's quite normal. But this next one is something, it's like a different category of use case with an AI, because really you're doing something that you wouldn't be doing otherwise. Okay, what does that look like? So concretely, I'll show you how I saved a bunch of money on all the subscriptions that I have. And trust me, like being into this AI stuff, like they accumulate, and that's okay because they open up, you know, a lot of leverage for you. But I do have a lot of subscriptions. And what I did is I put an Excel sheet together with like on the one side, like all the subscriptions, like, right, like Netflix and automation software and this and that. And then on the other side, what I'm paying for it monthly. I just went from my bank statement and kind of like did this manually. I'm sure you could export it, but I just did a simple little Excel sheet, right? 1 row, 2nd row. You could also type it out in your notes if you want to. The point is, like, you're putting together information, you're putting together data about your life. Then I took all that, right, whether it's Excel sheet or it's in your notes, you take that, you paste it into ChatGPT, and then I did the following. And listen closely, because this shows you the capabilities that are possible today, and you can do this too. I activated something that is called a deep research feature inside of ChatGPT. Now, there's variations of this. The competing companies, Anthropic and Gemini and All of them have a deep research by now. But the point is, you activate this deep research feature, which is like a button, right? It's not something you need to set up. It's a button that says deep research. You press that, you put in that Excel sheet with all the subscription data, and then you follow up by saying something as simple as find cheaper alternatives to what I'm paying. Then you hit enter. And then you go for a walk, you walk your dog, you drink a coffee, whatever you like. You come back around 15 minutes later. Now, you don't have to do this work. The AI is working throughout these 15 minutes. You come back, and what you're going to find is a report. You're going to find, in my case, it was a 20-page long report, okay? And yes, it did take me some time to actually like cancel some subscriptions and find alternatives and stuff. But let me tell you, at the end of that day, at the end of that session, it saved me 15% of all of my subscriptions just from that one report. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, like 2 of the subscriptions, I think I had a total of like 30 something. 2 of them, the companies lowered the pricing on it. I wasn't even aware. When was the last time you checked the sales pages of like subscriptions that you already have? That's not a thing you do. Right? And not a thing you're gonna do, even if I tell you now. That's like such a menial task because you have to like check 35 pages. It's a lot of work. ChatGPT did it for me. Beyond that, it showed me alternatives to some services that I'm using. And because it already knew me a little bit, and we'll talk about that in a second, because it already knew me a little bit, it made recommendations that, hey, Igor, you might not even want to be using this service. What you might want to use is this alternative that costs only $10 a month instead of $80. And I did that. So I made a bunch of switches. It resulted in a 15% cost saving on all my subscriptions. And I was very conservative because like I'm already very selective with where I spend my time. So, I thought that list was perfect. It's ChatGPT still found some. For somebody who doesn't even bother checking their subscriptions, damn, this really makes a difference. And you can do this too. Just type up the stuff that you have, click that deep research button and ask, how could I save? And it's going to do it for you. Okay. Next example is, a little beyond what most people can like build or try. The first 2, they're really something that you could kind of do right now, try right now. The next one is relating to something that you'll hear echoed throughout multiple speeches. I just talked to Ali. By the way, the back room is full of experts. It's incredible. The mind power in there relating to both technology and life, it's unbelievable. And she was mentioning that she's also going to talk about AI avatars. And I'm sure you'll see many of these throughout these sessions. But I have one too. An avatar that I trained on my likeness and on my voice. And it can basically replicate me on autopilot. Now, if you've seen this before, you'll know it's nowhere close to a real human presenting. It just lacks that human touch, and it's just the technology is not quite there. But it is a cool little gimmick, I would even say. Now, I used it in a fun way because when me and Dean met back in Germany, about like 2.5 months ago, he asked me an email. He followed up with an email, and instead of me just replying with a normal email, I actually texted him back with my AI avatar, and it blew his mind. He was like, Igor, this is so great. I basically replied the thing that I was going to write as a message to him via my avatar, and that worked really great. But here you might be thinking, hey, Igor, okay, that's great, that's fun, but isn't that a little gimmicky? And I would agree, that is gimmicky. It's not, But I found a great way to actually use this in my business. I had this like waitlist for a new service I was rolling out. And what I did is I hooked up the waitlist to my avatar. There's like an automation in the background that like can spit out these avatars. And every time somebody filled out that form, I was basically asking, hey, are you interested in the service? And they were like, yes. And then I asked for 2 or 3 more details about them. Well, in the background, the avatar used the 2 or 3 details that they provided. And instead of just getting an email saying, hey, thank you so much for signing up, I'll see you soon, they got a custom video message from my avatar. I fully acknowledge that it's AI. I wasn't pretending like this is, me recording a custom message. Heck, you fill out the form within I think 90 seconds, you got an email with a custom video of my avatar talking to you. But this is just something that wasn't possible at all. And it's also not something that you can even conjure up yourself, no matter how hard you think. It scales your presence. And it doesn't replace you. That's not the point here. As with so many other AI use cases and all of this technology, it's not replacing you. At least not at this point in time where we're at. Right now, we're at a golden time where there's an opportunity between what was possible and where this technology is going to go. Right now, we're at a place where it amplifies you. It enhances you. In this case, it allows me to multiply my presence and for me to do other things with my time and for me to be more creative with my time rather than replacing me. This avatar is just enhancing what I do, right? So I thought that was pretty cool, and I use that all the time now. But look, all of these examples that I gave you, okay, we did 3 great little examples right here, but all of them have one thing in common. They're run by this thing that we call AI. And not to get too technical on you here, but basically what AI is a system called the LLM in the background, the large language model. And there's a takeaway here. Trust me, I'm not getting into the technical stuff and telling you all about that right now. I want you to realize one thing though, and this is major. So really let this sink in, because at the end of the day, these LLMs, this is what we call AI, they do one thing and they do it so damn well. They take patterns that they've seen and they reproduce them. In other words, they're pattern recognition and pattern reproduction machines, engines. And if you really think about it for a second, not to get philosophical on you here either, but humans are that too. We get our upbringing shows us the patterns, how our parents lived, how the people around us function. We mimic that. The language we learn, well, depending on what country you come from, you speak different languages. That's just the patterns that you picked up from around you. So LLMs do the same thing. Now, let's look at one of the examples that I gave you, right? When I say, hey, give me this document that I don't understand myself fully in the language of a 14-year-old. Well, how does it know what a 14-year-old speaks like? Well, it saw a bunch of writing of 14-year-olds. It saw a bunch of writing of PhDs. It saw a bunch of writing of little kids. Heck, it saw all the writing that is available on the internet. That's the whole idea behind training these models. It saw all of that. It recognized those patterns. It learned them, and now it's able to reproduce them for you. So here's the big unlock, okay? That sounds like theory, like, okay, pattern recognition, pattern reproduction, that makes sense. But here's the big unlock that I want you to take away from this, because it applies to all the examples. Whatever you're doing in any AI, whether it's ChatGPT, one of the competitors, doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing, if you provide it with examples, if you tell it, hey, I wrote this email, then I wrote this email again, and then I wrote this email again to the same person about the same topic, if you copy those 3 emails into ChatGPT and say, write a 4th one, it's gonna be so good at reproducing the pattern that you gave it, but you have to give it the pattern. I'm not saying you need to give it the pattern every single time. I'm just saying, whether you're doing a proposal, a report, a social media post, client communication, or you're writing product copy, it doesn't matter. Lead by example. Just like the best parenting happens when the parents actually lead by example. It doesn't matter what you tell the kids, it matters how you act, what you show them, right? Same thing here, you need to lead by example. Take the examples of things you have done, just copy paste them into ChatGPT and then tell it, hey, do that again. 3 is good, 5 is better, by the way. So that is really important, and it applies to everything else. And before we kind of talk about reproducing what you already do, I really want you to start thinking also about how much time these things save you. Because I gave you 3 nice little examples. And let me tell you, I thought long and hard about what examples to take here, because there's a lot. There's a million more that you can do. But it really starts with just doing something. Because doing something builds the confidence to do more. If you do the simple little thing of giving it a document and then telling it, hey, give that to me like I'm 14, and wow, you're like, okay, that saved me 20 minutes. Think about the fact that it saved you 20 minutes, because that's going to build so much motivation and confidence in the next thing that you're going to be doing, that it just starts like multiplying, and it'll spark your curiosity and you'll want to do more and more. So the idea is not to learn all of these tools. As I told you, the idea is to get good at using some of these tricks and to build confidence within one tool. I just recommend just use ChatGPT or one of the competitors and just do it within there and focus on the outcome that you get. Focus on the time that you get back. Don't collect tools, don't collect all of these prompts. You can do that, sure. I'm not advocating against that. I'm just saying, like, the best way to do this is to think about the time you get back and really measure that. And that really, like that combined with the pattern recognition, is all about, well, at a certain point, it gets to know you, okay? And I want to share a quick story about this, because like as you advance with the usage of these tools, you're going to realize that it getting to know you is essential. Because when I hear about new companies that hire hundreds of people, I'm like I think like 2 years ago even, it was like, hey, great, you're doing well. Now, in some of the circles that I navigate, like people tell me like, hey, what went wrong? Why are you hiring all these people? Like, shouldn't you be building systems? Shouldn't you be building like processes that actually do it? And this conversation shifted like a year ago. And so let me tell you, like, there's a big change in that. And a lot of it is about like recognizing the patterns that a company is executing, that you're executing, some patterns about you and communicating that to AI. And then all of these outcomes become better. Now, I want to tell you about one quick story. And that is something that happened earlier this summer. I'm a little embarrassed to like even admit it, honestly, because it was like one of the worst accidents that I've had like in my recent memory. And also it's like, I don't know, I even feel stupid like talking about it, because basically like I went to a yoga class in the morning and it went great. I love my little yoga classes, they reset me. But I was on my way home from that yoga class. I live in Lisbon, Portugal by now, beautiful city. Not the best to ride with electric longboards around. But I basically hit my electric longboard and I was heading home. And usually that goes smoothly, I wear a helmet and everything, you know. But there was this one water sprinkler that really tripped me up that day. And by tripping up, I mean I almost face planted on a street that is this steep. I fell. I was bruised, 8 cuts, bleeding all over. Nothing broke, so, you know, not too dramatic, but like I got home and I was shocked. It wasn't just physical, it was mental. And I sat down, I cleaned my wounds and everything, and I was sort of like just breathing deeply, taking it all in. And then I realized like, oh no. I checked my phone and I checked the notifications, and it's team members and the agency we work with just texting me about like, hey, what's up with this video and that video. I had a bunch of deadlines that day. But I'm sitting there at my table, bleeding, literally, there's blood dripping onto the table. And I'm like, oh no, there's no way, how am I supposed to record this video today, looking like this, feeling like this? And then I realized, hey, I'm not alone here actually. Let me consult ChatGPT and ask it what I should do here. I didn't have to seed it with all this information that what I'm doing in my business and what my goals are. It already knew that. But I just asked, hey, what should I do in this situation? And I just turned on the microphone and it just started talking. And I spent like 2 minutes talking. And it was very real, it was very raw. I stumbled over my words multiple times and I was like, oh man, like this is bad. Like I'm serious, like I can't do this work. Like how am I supposed to do this now? And I just hit enter. And it came back with like the answer that I consider one of the most helpful answers it ever gave me. And this is not even getting your time back. This is just it being there for me in a way and knowing me in a way that in that moment nobody else could. It basically told me this: you could do 3 things now, Igor. First of all, you could rest, right? Do nothing. Hey, it's just fair, right? Like you messed up and you know things happened, just rest. The second one is like you could push through, ignore all the pain and record it anyway. But that's probably, there's gonna be a price you pay for that and then some. And then the third option is one that I haven't thought of. It's like you could do a balance. How about you like rest for now, you do a little bit of the work so everybody else is on track and so they're happy and they know you're committed, but then you finish the rest tomorrow. And then it went ahead and it actually recommended that I do the balanced thing. And then here's the cool thing. Now I did this inside of my little system that knew me already. If you do this in a new chat, and if you try this today, and if you tell it about the accident, if you even take like what I just told you there and put it in, it's always gonna tell you not to do anything. It's not even gonna mention that, hey, you could push through or like, you should, no, it's just gonna tell you rest. You're like, you know, you have cuts, you're bleeding, you should just rest. But my setup knew me already. It knew my goals. It knew how important my work is to me. It knew how much I actually wanna get these things done. And it told me, hey, do the balance. And that's what I did. And this is where AI transforms from more than something that just saves you time. It's something that knows you, and it's something that has this contextual wisdom. And that's really what I would love for you to get to at a certain point in time. So if any one of these use cases resonated with you, if this idea of it being a pattern recognition and pattern reproduction machine resonated with you, I want you to start measuring the time that the different things you do with it and that you learn throughout this summit what kind of difference it makes. Because this compounds, that's the important part. It's not about saving 10 minutes. Sure, it's like 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes will give you the energy and the confidence to save the next 10 minutes, which will accelerate the next hour, which will turn into 15 hours quicker than you would imagine. The goal today is not mastering tools. It's getting time back. And only you can do that. You have to take the action. You have to actually go into ChatGPT and do these things. And I hope some of these examples and my little story helped you in doing that. And with that being said, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I hope you see how we're just going deeper and deeper. We got Mr. Tony Robbins coming up here soon to share something that's going to absolutely blow your mind. But first, I am so excited. I'm going to get right to it. I hope you're taking notes like crazy, and we're feeling the momentum. We're reading your comments. We'll keep meeting you where you are over these 3 days. Like I said, our whole goal is that we have a strategy, that you leave here with a plan, leave here with confidence, leave here with the capabilities. No matter where you are, there's another level. And I hope you're hearing this foundational piece of going deeper in your AI to build something that knows you more, that understands you more, that can help you where you are, to meet you and help you overcome the constraints and go faster towards your goals. And I'm so excited for our next guest. From the moment I first talked to Allie, I knew she was the real deal. You know, almost 50 interviews. I think the last one was 49 or 50 interviews that Tony and I did. Out of all those interviews, we chose a few to bring here today. And it's because you could feel their heart. You could hear their depth of wisdom, but even more, their depth of wanting to share. She's brilliant. She's thoughtful. And she has the rare gift of making complicated things with AI feel simple, feel clear, feel actionable. She's been recognized globally for her work and is the most followed voice in AI business with nearly 2 million followers. Time magazine named her one of the 100 most influential people in AI, right alongside names of like Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg. What I love about Allie is she knows how to teach. She gives you mental models and frameworks that help you rethink how you work, how to buy back time, and how to create leverage. Now, before this, she helped build multi-million-dollar businesses at Amazon and launched the first multimedia AI team at IBM, setting up the stage for an AI shift we're experiencing right this very moment. And today, she's going to break down the 3 levels of working with AI. And once you understand these, you can truly change the way you operate. Let's play this quick little video and then bring out Allie Miller.
What it means to be a business is changing. And so though you've experienced change in your business before, this is a new beast. And AI is a tool to be able to handle that rate of change.
I'm here with Allie K. Miller, one of my favorite AI leaders.
In my view, when it comes to making sense of the impact of AI at work and beyond, the most compelling voice on LinkedIn is Allie's.
I started in AI nearly 20 years ago. In my work at AWS, I was running the machine learning strategy for 400,000 global startups. The biggest thing that I'm seeing is that these top companies are not just building AI products, right? It's not just the frosting on the cake. It is literally baked into the flour of the cake. Machine learning is at the core of everything that they're doing. So there's this move toward an AI-first business. You cannot just have the executives sitting in this wonderful room hearing what is happening in AI. Everyone in your company needs to know.
We've seen this for years before. The difference is the speed and scale. This is all about moving AI upstream, right? So it's not just this last mile where you kind of sprinkle it on the end. It's not that frosting. How are you as a next-gen business growing your revenue and not just cutting costs? Because the world of business is going to look completely different in 5 years. And you need to have partners on your side that know how to handle that today.
Let's give a warm welcome to Allie K. Miller. Good job. Crush it.
Oh, man. This is incredible. Thank you so much for having me, Dean and Tony. And I promise that this is not the same jacket that I was wearing in my headshot. It's a totally different brown jacket. Let's talk about being an AI-first entrepreneur and how you can take advantage of this moment to be able to build a business in the AI age. As I mentioned in that early video, I started in AI almost 20 years ago. And I can tell you that I wake up with some acid reflux in the morning because of the #1 most important thing to know about AI. And that is not one specific tool, not one specific product or platform. The #1 thing to know is the pace of change. Now, Zach Cass mentioned some of these top moments, but I'm going to also give you my take on this. The first really big shift that is happening is that the cost is dropping. Depending on the model or the task, the average cost drop year over year is between 9x and 900x. And now a lot of people are looking at this and they go, amazing, I can cut my budgets. Amazing, I don't have to spend anything on these platforms. There are so many brand new use cases that are opening up because of this cost drop. As one example, my team has built out a simulation platform so that if we ask it a question, it'll come up with 10,000 potential solutions and score and rank all of them. You can't do that if every single one of those costs $10, but you can if it costs fractions of a cent. The second big pace of change, and again, Zach mentioned this because we're all seeing the same benchmarks and all freaking out about the same things. It is how long of a task AI can take on. AI used to be doubling in that task length every 7 months. We are now doubling about every 4 to 5 months. I want to give you kind of these two big takeaways, right? Graphs can only share so much. Why should you actually care about this? Number one, the cost of intelligence is dropping to near zero. That is unbelievable for you guys. That means that access to these tools, access to intelligence, is wide open. You can grab it just like every top business out there. That also means that if everyone can grab it, how are you standing out in your business? And the second shift that I want to make sure people hear is AI agents, i.e. AI that can do stuff for us, AI that can reason through its own steps and take action. These agents are going to be able to work more than a full day in the next 12 months. When an AI system can work for a full day without you interrupting it, without you saying, hey, can I check your work? When it's able to work for a full day, all of a sudden, it can also delegate out to other agents. And so that is going to be a very big hockey stick moment that you guys now know is coming, likely in the next year. Now, as I look at all of these shifts that are happening, the good news for all of you is that what it means to be an entrepreneur hasn't changed. It still takes some risk. It still takes that intuition, that taste, that creativity. The change that is happening right now and that has been kind of evolving over the last 3 years, and we're about to be in this really big hockey stick moment, it's how you do it that has changed. It's how you take advantage of this moment, how you combine your resources, your creativity, your audience, your experience, and turn it into value. Now, I'm very excited to kind of share how I think about an AI-first business. And I'm going to give you some real use cases. So if you guys have not yet done this with Igor's talk, please, for the love of Dean and Tony, open up your laptops so that you can start screenshotting some of these prompts that I share and immediately testing this. So open up Claude, ChatGPT, I don't care. Open up your laptop in a different tab, keep me in one tab, and let's get going. An AI-first business can be broken out into 3 Ps. The first is people. How are you supercharging yourself as a business leader? Maybe you have people on your team. How are you supercharging them? The second P is process. How are you able to get some of these back office operations done that much more efficiently? How are you able to make decisions that much more efficiently? And the last is product. Now, a lot of people, when they think of product, they think, okay, software that we scale out, you know, like Pinterest or Airbnb platforms. No, the product for many of you is you. Igor mentioned this. How are you going to scale yourself as the product? So I'm going to give you some use cases for each of these categories. The first is people. So I believe Igor mentioned this as well. We're going to do some deep research, but we're going to actually do it in agent mode inside of ChatGPT. In the bottom left, we're going to switch it into agent mode. And I'm going to say, I am launching a brand new boutique wellness center in Seattle. Grab me best practices from places outside of Seattle, right? The old way of doing this, you would have to spend weeks researching this. But we're going to say, grab best practices, tell me what people are buying in the space, scan forums, tell me what they're terrified of telling their grandma, tell me what they're terrified of telling their kids. By the way, this is like my favorite way of prompting AI because it always gets to like the meat of a persona. And so I'm going to ask this question. Now, in agent mode, they're going to spin up a virtual computer. And it is going to start kind of working on your behalf. It's as if like an intern is in another room with its own laptop. So it spins up a virtual computer, starts doing the search. It finds something about deprivation flotation tanks in Austin, which has been on my bucket list for a while, in case anyone has any advice of where to do that in New York. But I'm going to be able to have the AI agent read through this, and then it is going to give me back this report after it has worked for 14 minutes, scanning the internet, finding these best practices. It gets me back this report. It tells me about Seattle. It tells me about hydrotherapy and what I can learn from that and what I can bring into my business. It cites all of it. Next time you're bored, next time you're lounging by the beach, print out this report and read it. You're going to get so much smarter, so much faster. Now, I had to prompt for this. And one thing that I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel bogged down by is the fact that every single thing in your business is bottlenecked by you. Nothing happens in your business unless you do it, unless you respond to an email, unless you call a customer, unless you figure out how to launch something new. We need to make sure that AI is able to start tasks for us. So in the bottom, we are going to now schedule this prompt so that every single 6th of the month, i.e. today, it is going to be able to run that research for me. You can run research on your competitors every single day. You can run research on your industry every month. You can get a download of the newest news in quantum physics every year, whatever makes you happy. But start to think about how to remove yourself as a literal bottleneck in your own business. Let me give you another example. I did a very weird thing, which is I went to Madison Square Park in New York, and I decided to sit there for 5 hours and teach people AI. It was terrifying. Not as terrifying as talking to hundreds of thousands of people live, but pretty close. So I meet a 45-year-old man, not in this photo. I meet a 45-year-old man, and he comes up to me and he tells me that he hates his job. His boss is micromanaging him. He wants to get the heck out of there. And I said, what's your dream? What do you want to do? He says, I want to launch a meditation platform. I want to have a meditation channel on YouTube. And I go, great. What does it even look like? Who's doing that today? Are there 5 people in this space, 5 million people in this space? What is the landscape? And he goes, I have no idea. And I go, let's do it together. We open up Claude. I type in, go ahead, scour the internet, pull back a bunch of data, do some data entry for me, put it together, tell me how many channels there are, how often are they posting, tell me the description of their channel. And in only a couple of minutes, I get a full landscape grab, a full market scan on exactly the thing that I want to do. Now, I can take this as additional context. I can ask AI, how do I stand out in this space? I can ask AI, here's my 5 things that I've tried before. What have I not tried to be able to gain footing in this space? And let me give you one last example inside of People. This, do not screenshot this. This is a terrible, horrific AI prompt. This is a bad prompt. Why? It gave no detail about who I am, what I want, what my goals are, what my fears are. All I said was, write a blog post about how hard it is to start an agency. And what I also hate about this is that it's telling my story, right? What is hard about starting an agency? That should be my view. So instead, I am going to draft my own blog post, and we're going to use AI to improve quality. It's not just doing work for us. We're not lazily offloading and abusing these AI systems. We're going to have it improve our work. So I'm giving it this blog post. I say, hey, review it from the POV of this potential person. Score it on creativity, on intuition, on value, and give me ways to improve it if the score is below 5 on any of these things. I say, help me think of analogies. Maybe I want to visualize this blog post in a way that I would have never been able to do. So I ask for these analogies. I'm asking for more forethought. I'm asking for action. I say, how do I make this go viral on Reddit? How do I tap into the right communities? And so again, it did not write the blog post. I came in with my emotion. I came in with my learnings, my business value, and I gave AI several tasks to improve my work and improve the performance of that post. And I get back all this improvement advice. It's going to tell me to get even more tactical with business. It is going to give me very specific examples. Hey, create bullet point readers for those busy readers. It gives me the exact breakdown of those Reddit forums that I can immediately grab.
And I could even start to say, okay, pull me together a spreadsheet with all the links. Pull me together the draft for these posts that should go along with my post. Convert my blog post into a Reddit post. There's so many ways to take this. But again, the big takeaway, yes, it will help you be more productive, but it will also help you make better things and turn the work you're already doing into greater performance to have greater impact. Let's go into process. Now, I worked with a startup and I heard the most shocking thing, which was that they have millions of users, but because of AI helping them in their customer support processes, they only have to spend 15 minutes a day on customer support. Now, I'm going to show you a screenshot. This is an automation platform. This is a little bit more of an advanced workflow, and I know that some of you are just getting started. Whatever you're doing, I just want you to push one step more. So if you're not here yet, I completely understand. You'll get there in about a week, and I can't wait to see you there. But this is a platform called Make. You can build out automations. This is an automation that my team has built out that takes in emails that we get into our support channel, summarizes them, drafts the response based on 50 other common responses we have, summarizes it, puts it in our Slack, scores it based on urgency, tags the right person. This, because I was just learning the platform, took me 4 hours. If you copy exactly what I have on the screen, it's going to take you a couple minutes. There are so many things that we can do that we don't have to be experts in. I don't want to be an expert on customer support. I want to be a helpful person, but I need to spend more of my business time educating the world on AI and working with Fortune 500 CEOs on their strategy. That is what I need to be focused on. So think about things that are pulling you out of your zone of genius and how you can use AI to help there. Let me give you another example. This is something called Claude Code. Again, this is going to be a bit more advanced. As you're thinking about processes that you have in your work, how can you think of net new interfaces? And so I go into Claude Code and I say, I am bogged down in SOWs. I am bogged down in invoices. If I have to look at one more contract, I think I'm going to pull my hair out. So I go to Claude Code and I say, make me a new interface that allows me to just copy and paste in an entire email thread. I don't want to clean it. I don't want to copy. I don't want to grab it. Just let me messily grab this whole thing, throw it in, and then you convert it into an SOW and an invoice that I can download, grab, send to a customer. That process used to take hours, now minutes. So I ask for that. It codes up a brand new web app just for me. Did I have to code in any part of this? Absolutely not. I coded when dinosaurs roamed the earth. I don't have to code right now. And so I'm asking Claude Code to build this out. You can see on the right-hand side, I drop in that email thread between George Clooney and Alanis Morissette because I was feeling nostalgic yesterday. And so George Clooney is selling Alanis Morissette acting lessons, even though she doesn't need it. We type in this whole email thread. We get back a kind of messy markdown scope of work and invoice. You can see in the top, it's giving me the option to download each of these. I download it. And again, within 2 minutes, I get a beautifully designed scope of work document that I can go back and forth. I can ask for edits. And I also get a perfect looking invoice. I could customize the colors, I could customize the layout, I can go back and forth with it for weeks, I can add unicorns dancing on it, whatever I want to do, but I did not have to code to be able to code to make that happen. These systems that can code are not just for engineers. You guys are brilliant. The fact that you're here, the fact that you signed up, the fact that you took time out of your schedule to learn about AI tells me that you're going to be proactive enough to take advantage of this moment. Do not let the word code scare you away from something that can meaningfully shift your business. Last section is product. Now, I'm going to give you a few examples here. And again, behind the scenes, a lot of this is going to be code-based. But I need you to start hearing the word code and translate it into your head as solution. Every time you hear the word code, you're not going to think about a nerd in a basement who's a software engineer who hasn't changed shirts in 5 days. You are going to think of you taking control and helping yourself make solutions in your business. So
My team, we wanted to launch a brand new lead gen. I'd always wanted to launch this like online quiz. And so we used a tool like Lovable. You can use Claude Code. You can use Replit. I know Replit will be speaking at this summit as well. And we built out a fun little quiz that helped people better understand whether they were AI first. We built all of this in Lovable. We made an impact. We helped tens of thousands of people. And again, it's because of platforms like this. We couldn't do this 3 years ago. Another example. Now, this looks like it's a photo of me. But I think Igor already teased this out. This is not real Ali. This is actually Avatar Ali. And I get really thrown off when people use these like video avatars to have really important tier 1 customer conversations. I would not recommend it there. Recommend it for the long tail of action. How can I use my twin to scale myself out to help business professionals everywhere that maybe can't afford me for long-term one-on-one? Maybe I need to sleep, and so I need to find better ways of scaling myself. So in a couple minutes, I was able to record an avatar of myself. There are many platforms where you can do this. And so now I have this video AI avatar. I can type anything in the script. There's an Easter egg in that script in case you want to read it on your own. And I can even turn it into a quiz. So as we're thinking about this way of educating the world, how can I use my avatar to scale that? How can I use my avatar to dial up the amount of engagement that I can have? How can I think more multimodally, more globally, to help more people? Again, I'm still the one coming up with this quiz. I'm still the one helping and writing and improving the script. It's the way that it gets distributed that has changed. One last use case here. This is from a coach that I was working with. This person realized that the main problem that she was dealing with was not the number of leads. She was getting tons of leads. The actual bottleneck was her ability to deal with those leads, was her ability to manage intake. And so we designed an AI solution around that, where she built out a key AI author interview, and she also built out an entire AI twin so that she could scale herself. She was, again, going to test small. This is really important in AI. Test small, especially when it deals with trust and people. She was able to 3x her revenue because she went from 12 clients to 30 because she was able to handle that scale with AI. She still meets with them one-on-one. It's just that intake that has been offloaded. As we wrap up, I want you to remember that as you're thinking about people, process, and product, the advice that I want to leave you with, people, figure out those repeated workflows so that you as a solopreneur can find the 20% of a marketer, of an assistant, of a salesperson, whatever you need, so that you don't necessarily need to hire 11 people. You can scale yourself. In process, I want you to think about code as a solution and think about potential new interfaces that are just for you, just your own internal web app that can help you scale a lot of your back office processes. And of course, in product, you are the brains, you are the empathy and the genius that are in your business. How can you use AI as a means of scalability? I'm sure every single person is going to say this at some point today and tomorrow and the next day, but I mean it when I say I believe this is the greatest time in history to start a company. Maybe also in like railroad time, but maybe this is tied for first place. The playbook of how these things are built, the playbook of who wins, the playbook of success is burning up in flames. The system that has held people back is no longer holding those same people back, and you have the opportunity to do more in the next 3 months than most people have been able to do in years. I want you to start thinking about code as a solution and lean into these moments, lean into new workflows that you're going to hear over the next 3 days, and remember to not underestimate this moment. This is it. I am so excited that you guys have the best speakers in the world in this space. Again, thank you to Dean and Tony, and I can't wait to see what you guys build. Thank you.
So good. Give it up for Ali, everybody. So good. You know what's so cool As I got to tell you, we obsess over this, and I'm so excited for what's next. Do not leave your chair. Wherever you are, get back. If you're not by your seat, get back. But here's what I want to tell you. Watching AIA, you know, when we started, everything we do is strategic. There's a reason for all of it. There's a reason, and I learned so much of this from my brother, Tony Robbins, but we have to build the foundation and work our way up. In the beginning, in the first 15, 20 minutes, some people are saying, hey, could you give me more stuff? And then it's funny, everybody else was like, no, this is perfect. And then Ali was sharing, some people were going, wow, this is a little over my head. And the other ones were like, this is perfect. Here's what we know. By the end of the 3 days, we're going to tie this all together. You're brand new. You're going to leave with next level confidence and a plan. If you're already in this, you're going to find ways. There's 8 different speakers here. You are going to learn something you don't know. You are going to learn a process that's going to just change everything about AI to allow yourself to go faster, to go quicker, to lean into this moment and get ahead of the wave. Now, I'm so excited for what's next for you all. You know, there's moments in life that change everything. For me, it happened almost 29 years ago when I purchased Personal Power from Tony Robbins. I was young, I was hungry, I was trying to figure it all out. And Tony's words just cracked me open. It did something different than anything in my life. And Tony just didn't teach me strategies. He helped me see that who I became as a human matters more than everything else. Over the years, that impact has only grown. What most people don't see is the man behind the scenes, the friend, the mentor, the brother, who gives more of himself than any other human being I know, anyone I've ever met. Whether it's helping a stranger, supporting a cause, or sending me a text message some days when he doesn't even know it was the perfect timing. Tony shows up with heart and with certainty. Now I have the gift of calling him my dearest friend. We built companies together. We laughed until we cried. We walked through challenges side by side. And after all these years, I still find myself learning from this man every single day. And what I admire most isn't just the magnitude of his achievements. It's his obsession with discovering patterns of what creates an extraordinary life and then turning it around and giving you and all of us those patterns so we can utilize them in our life. So today, get ready because he's going to share the exact timeless pattern that have changed the patterns that have changed millions of lives, including mine, and how they can be empowered and used in this new AI era. So let's watch this quick video, and then let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Tony.
Working? There we go. Okay, come on back. Whoa! Yes! Well, that was quite... Bring that music down. That was quite a delay. After all this teaching on AI, the basic audio went out. So we're really highly advanced here. I hope you're having a great time. How many's having a great time this morning, this afternoon, wherever you're in the world? It's really a pleasure to be with you. You know, about 3 months ago, literally just 3 months ago, I reached out to Dean as my partner, and we've been helping businesses, individual business owners turn their businesses around for more than a decade together. I've been doing this as my 48th year. I started when I was 3, of course. And in those 48 years, almost 50 years, I've learned a lot. I could be an idiot at this point. I've dealt with enough people in 195 countries that at this point I have to be a total idiot not to see there are patterns. Patterns that'll make you successful, patterns that'll make you fail. Patterns that make you angry and frustrated and overwhelmed, patterns that make you feel generous and excited and passionate and determined. And when you understand those patterns, you can change anything. And AI is just an expansion of that, but it's a tool that we need to use, not let it use us. And I reached out to Dean because I said, you know what, a year ago when we were talking about this, it was too soon. A year from now, it'll be too late. For business owners today, just imagine if you don't learn to use AI and really become effective in your business, 3 years from now, where will you be? 5 years from now, there's zero question. So I said, we need to do something. We need to do it free, do it for everybody. And the challenge with everybody, of course, is there's some of you that have barely even used it. Some of you are, using it like a search engine or every now and then doing some research. Some of you are really experts. Maybe you're building software. Maybe you're in a position you're using vibe coding already. So how do we support everyone? So our goal was basically today to bring you some couple of insights and distinctions, lay the groundwork, because your philosophy, your strategy for approaching AI is going to be the most important thing in getting results. Otherwise, what people do is they run around and they find 20 applications, or like I think Matt was saying earlier, was being in a position where you're finding yourself like, what are the top 100 applications? I found myself doing that also, and all that does is create stress, and it's not smart. So our focus here is, how do we get you to free up your time? And how do we get you leverage for more impact with less time, more results? And that's been my entire life. And we're living, by the way, obviously in the most incredible time in human history, but truthfully, even before AI, just good to remember, in the last 125 years, since your great-grandfather or grandmother, we've changed everything. We've literally been in a position in this time period where we've doubled the human lifespan. In the US, it's gone from 47 years old to 79, literally in that short period of time. We've tripled the per capita income of the world, not just here in America. We've taken the cost of food and brought it down 30-fold. We've taken the cost of transportation down by 100. We've taken communication down to almost nothing. We're having these communications right now. I'm seeing them they'll use at home in Zoom. In your library there, Robert Moore, Tanya Namden over here, Nick Gunn's having a good time back here. Nikki Gunn, excuse me, there we go. Roxanne Curley. I can see him, Michael King. And all this is happening for virtually free. I mean, this is insane. But in addition to that, this is what's really amazing. And since 1900, the last 125 years, a couple generations, we've gone literally from 80% of the world being in poverty to now, according to the UN, it's 8%. And of course, any percent I want any part of. I've spent a good portion of my life feeding people. I just got back from the Middle East, where I met with MBS from Saudi Arabia, MBZ's team from UAE. We've been getting food in Gaza and the Sudan when no one else was able to. They were killing the people bringing in, so we started doing airdrops. I mean, I don't want anybody to suffer. My whole life, my mission is helping people massively increase the quality of their life. And if you're in business or if you're in life, you've got to use AI to do it, because you don't want to fall behind. And so in the next 36 to 48 months, if you want to say conservatively, in the next 5 or 10 years max, life is going to change more in these 5 to 10 years than any time in human history. I mean, beyond anything we can imagine. And by the way, you think of AI, but nanotechnology you barely hear about right now. But nanotechnology is being augmented by AI. Nanotechnology will change the earth. I'll give you an idea. Ray Kurzweil is one of the absolute geniuses of our society. He's the Edison of our day. And what he really did, he created everything from digital music to Siri. I mean, he's a genius in what he does. When they were doing the human genome, after 7 years, they'd only cracked 1% of the human genome. And everyone in the world, all the scientists said it's going to take 600 years with our current technology, even with its growth, to crack the human genome. And it's going to cost hundreds of billions of dollars. He said, no, it took us 7 years to get 1%. It'll take another 7 years to get 100%. Because 7 doublings of 100 does that, because he understands how things work when you have technology that's constantly doubling. And he was right to the day. He is already showing us we have the technology, we just haven't shrunk it yet. But we can take 10% of your red blood cells, this is what they believe they'll be able to do by early 2030s, and literally replace 10% of them with these same size red blood cells, but they're nanoparticles, but they're more efficient providing oxygen. And what that means is you'd literally be able to sprint at Olympic levels for 15 minutes on a single breath. You would be able to hold your breath for 4 hours underwater. If you had a heart attack, you would have 12 hours to get to the hospital without a problem. They've got nanobots they're already working on. I know you know about Neuralink, but nanobots, there'll be small particles that can go in and then find cells and organs that need healing and actually do the healing within your body. This is not something in science fiction for a century from now. This is something that's going to happen in the next decade, things of this nature, maybe 15 years. So we're living in an incredible time, but you've got to use it, right? And when this kind of change happens, and the change right now, I don't know if you saw, but it was mentioned earlier, the idea that I think Zach said, that college students right now, their incomes are no different than high school students. That's the first time in our history. Well, this last month in October, we had more layoffs of high-tech jobs than any time in history, the largest loss of jobs, all based on AI. So I know that AI is going to have consequence. I remember sitting down with President Obama at the time and saying, hey, do you guys have a plan? Because just take one technology. Take, for example, AI-driven cars. We're talking about self-driving cars. And it was just a few years back, and I said, maybe that's 10 years out. But think about it. If you take Uber drivers, taxi drivers, truck drivers, that's 8 million people. That's how many jobs we lost in 2008 when it was considered the economic crisis of the last 50 years. And that's one technology. And who's going to hire a truck driver when I can buy a truck that works 24 hours a day? The truck driver can only work 8. They have to have healthcare that keeps getting more expensive. They bitch about everything versus a truck that works 24 hours a day. My insurance is cheaper, and I get to depreciate the asset. This is all going to happen. So our society is going to have a lot of disruption. And what I loved about the reason we brought Zach is I want you to make sure we don't lose the humanity in the middle of it. Again, that we use AI, we don't let AI use us, and we have to prepare ourselves. And so there's no time more important in history than to learn more rapidly. My goal right here in this brief little session with you is to show you what are the tools that took me from at reaction, trying to survive, not having enough money for food, to be able to feed 1 billion people. And actually, I've done 1 billion myself in the United States, but I'm now, in the last 3 years, through my 100 Billion Meals Challenge, we've delivered 62 billion meals. And I'm a person who didn't have food for my own family when I was 11 years old, right? It's taken me from, I couldn't run one company, I now have 114 companies, we do over $10 billion in business. And I don't tell you that to impress you, I tell it to impress upon you how fast things can change when you have the right kinds of insights. And I'm gonna show you that it's not AI that's done that. I didn't have AI at that stage. You can accelerate this even faster if you pay attention. So think about this. When change happens this rapidly, and it's gonna happen much more rapidly than it's happening right now, we're just starting to experience that upper drive. When that happens, most people get fearful. That's why the most important element to your success, 80% of your success in life is going to be your psychology, your mindset, your ability to manage this and this, your heart and head. Because if you let fear take you over, you will be stressed out of your mind. How many have a lot of stress in your life already from all the demands in your life? Make a little noise, you got a lot of stress, right? I want you to know that if you're stressed, it's because you've caught yourself up in either making a living instead of designing your life because all the urgencies, or maybe another way of describing it is you've become a manager of your circumstances, all the things I gotta deal with. You have the opportunity, even without AI, but it's magnified by AI, to step out of that stress mode and become what I call a creator. I mean, think about this. Why did you come to this program? It didn't cost you anything, I know, but it's still your time. And if you're going to come the next couple of days and we're going to over-deliver for you, what's going to bring you back? What's going to get you doing? What do you do anything for? What do you want out of your life? And people say to me, well, I want a great family, or I want $1 billion, or I want to grow a business, or I want to have more fun. Whatever you want, whether it's better income, better body, more energy, more aliveness, more happiness, more fulfillment. By the way, tomorrow we have a Harvard professor who's going to come in who's brilliant. And he's going to show you how to use AI to be happier. I know that sounds crazy, but you'll discover there's certain triggers that you'll learn that are inside yourself. I've been teaching this for years, but he's going to do it with the use of AI for you. So no matter what you want to have in your life, ultimately what you want is a greater quality of life. Who here has already got a great life, but you want more? More love, more joy, more excitement, more success, more fulfillment, right? So, and by the way, that's a healthy experience because the reason we want more is it makes us grow. And when we grow, we have something to give. And we're able to give to the people we care about and love. Our life has meaning. It's not just meeting our basic needs. You can do that pretty easily in the world we're in today. So if you want to have an extraordinary life, and by the way, I'm not telling you that's my life. I'm saying whatever you think is an extraordinary life. For some people, that's 3 beautiful children or husband and wife. For some people, it's building a beautiful home. For some people, it's a garden. Some people, it's poetry. Some people, it's writing music. Some people, it's building a business. It's different for everyone. But whatever your ideal is, there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. How many agree with that? Make some noise if you do. There's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. My whole life has been showing people how to close that gap. And the first way you close that gap is you stop managing everything. You step out of your life and you look at it holistically and you start to say, it's my job not to sit around and manage my life. I'm here to be a creator. The creator of my life, not the manager of my circumstances. And creators have a different mindset. I was just yesterday, and I was speaking right before the president at a talk that I was doing at the stadium where the Heat plays there in Miami. And right beforehand, I'd gone out to look at this facility that I'm going to be purchasing, and it's in the design district. So I met the man who built the design district there. Now this guy's, he's amazing. His last name is Robbins, no relationship. Craig Robbins is his name. He's a developer. He was a legal student. He went down to South Beach, Miami. If you've never been there, it's a pretty cool place now. But he went there and saw in the late 70s, early 80s, a bunch of people were retiring. There were no hotels, there were no restaurants. And he had this idea, what if I could create something here, not managed buy properties and manage them? What if I could create a new world here? What if, and he came up with an idea. I'm gonna go based on history and say, I'm gonna bring a different type of person here and stimulate this economy. And he went and got a group of people that had a catalog that was done for fashion. And he called the people and said, listen, I got a great property for you. It's right across from South Beach, one of the most beautiful ocean areas you can imagine. Right now, you're putting people on a giant plane, flying photographers, flying your models, flying everybody to Aruba. He goes, just do it here. They'll come for free, and you go out across the street and shoot it all. Well, he did that. Well, the next thing you know, the most beautiful women and men in the world are there. The greatest artists are there. So then what he starts to do, builds a nice hotel. Then he builds some nice restaurants. And then he converted it into what we have now. That's creation. Then he got tired of it because he said, you know what? Some people are putting a lousy place next door. I can't control it all. So we went to the design district. This is an area where it was $5 a square foot and 50% of the buildings were empty. Literally the ugliest place you can imagine in Miami. And what did he do? He found himself in a position where he said, I'm going to convert this. I'm going to bring back the original manufacturers of furniture that are now in big malls, and it's locked. Only designers can go in. I'm going to bring them here and make it funky and cool. Then he said, I'm going to bring some really great music and restaurants and bars. And then he said, I'm going to go get Art Basel. And then he brought Louis Vuitton. And if you go there today, it's $500 to $600 a square foot. It's some of the most expensive real estate. It's the jewel of the city. So being a creator is very different than managing what you have. And that's what really being a business person is. It's finding what you have right now and saying, how can I add more value? And AI, as you saw several times here, can save you so much time and energy. It can become that partner with you. I look at it as my AI partner that can think of things I haven't thought of, like a genius I get to tap into. We all have inner genius, but it needs to be triggered sometimes. And so here's what I want you to get. There are 5 simple qualities, and these are basic. They're in you right now, but if you don't activate them, it doesn't matter how many classes you take on AI or how technical we get. And by the way, each day we're gonna go a little deeper, and some of you are brand new. Something that somebody just did might feel a little complex. But on the last day, for example, we're gonna show you how to build software by just verbally describing it with the people that created it from Replit. So these are guys that 18 months ago were near broke, now they're worth $3 billion because they figured out how you don't have to know how to write software anymore or create solutions. You can tell it and create it. But we're gonna do it so it's more technical. And at the end of this, you'll have a chance, if you want to do like what I've always done. I created 30-day programs where you do something 30 minutes a day, that's it. But every day you get stronger and better and more, and you get momentum, and so by the end, you're an expert in what you're doing. We're just trying to introduce you today with a philosophy. Tomorrow, we're gonna show you how to grow your business in terms of marketing and sales, how to automate those pieces and take next level. Third level day is gonna be a whole different level. You're also gonna meet some incredible people. Mark Benioff, one of my dear friends, is there. By the way, if you talk about how businesses are changed, just think of it this way, creators. I have a friend named Robert Smith. He's a private equity guy. He owns a company that literally now, it's called Vista. It's a $100 billion company. He built it from nothing. He had no money to start with. All he did was figure out something unique, a pattern. This is what I'm gonna show you in a moment. Anyone who's successful recognizes a pattern. They start to use it and they start to create something that never happened before. They become a creator. He saw that companies were starting to put everything online. Mark Benioff started that by doing software as a service in the cloud. But he said they need enterprise software. Those companies, once you put your software in there, it's hard to get out. And the income is super high and the margin is really huge. And so he decided to become the best in that area, 600 companies in that area. This man is one of the wealthiest, most successful people in the world financially, but also a beautiful philanthropist, lovely human being. But what's interesting, I always say, what's the chokehold on your business? If I said to you, what's keeping your business from growing right now? First of all, I guarantee you the proper use of AI, you can break through that chokehold. You say, I don't have enough people, I don't have enough expertise, I don't have the money to do it. BS. I have a friend right now, a multi-billionaire friend who told me he has 12 lawyers, he has 7 guys that are implement guys on his marketing teams. He just got into learning how to use deep research on several of these, not just ChatGPT, on several of these. He said, I spent about $200, $300 a month for what was costing me about a payroll somewhere around maybe $1.2 million a year. And he said, I get better information faster. I got rid of most of them and I put more of them in. Mark Benioff, you'll meet him tomorrow because I'll do an interview with him. Mark started with nothing. Mark came to one of my seminars years ago. Oh, the reason I was talking about Robert Smith is when I asked him about the chokehold of his business, he said it was software engineers. He said, can't get enough of them. Well, guess what? Software engineers, people told you, hey, go to college, learn code. Coding is the future. It's not the future anymore because you don't need to learn to code anymore. And he said to me, we have half as many as we had before, and we've increased our profitability 600%. This is a man who's grown his business, and investors in his business have seen a return of over 30% compounded for 26 straight years. More than anything you could imagine. It's insane. Mark Benioff came to my seminars years and years ago, 25, 27 years ago. He went to 4 of them in a row, my Unleash the Power Within events. He was in the front row. He's almost as big as I am. And so I couldn't help missing it. One day, he finally comes up, shakes my hand, and says, I want you to come with me on a journey because I want you to remember me. You've convinced me to leave my job at Oracle. I have this idea for a company called Salesforce.com. And I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna change business around the world, and you watch, we'll do $100 million in business. and today, I tease him about it because 25 years later, he's doing $42 billion in business today and runs, yeah, give him a hand, Mark Benioff, unbelievable guy, right? So, and Mark, right, his company's worth $250 billion now, right? But he was telling me yesterday, and you'll hear in our interview, that he literally 50% of the profits of his company today are from AI. 50%. He let go of 18% of his workforce. Now, this is the part that concerns me, obviously. I don't know if we're going to have to tax on AI and robotics, because, by the way, you not only have nanotechnology that's going to change us, when I say what's going to change the world so much, and AI, but robotics. Because robotics is going to make it so that labor is as cheap as electricity. Right now, most of you didn't make, wow, do I go on the Zoom? Will I have enough electricity to do it? Will it cost me too much? Right? Electricity you take is a natural. Wherever I go, I'm going to get it. I'm going to have it. It's available. It's free. It's so simple. Labor is moving in that direction. We're going to a digital robotic workforce. Not only AI agents, but also robots themselves. So there's a lot coming. But Mark's process has exploded. Right now, if you call Salesforce, their clients are super high-end CEOs. It's the head of Coca-Cola. It's the head of Facebook. It's the head of Apple. And guess what? 50% of all their customer calls, 50% are dealt with by AI. And it seems so real right now. People are fully engaged. They know it's not a real person, but it's fully engaging. They get what they want faster, quicker, better, and they love it. And it's cut his costs. He's let go of about 5,000 people out of that that's made that happen. So much is coming. So what do you need to be a creator? You need 5 qualities real fast. 1, energy. Energy is the #1 determinant whether you're going to succeed or fail in life. Energy determines the quality of your relationship intimately. If you come home and you're exhausted and your partner's exhausted, even though you totally love each other, it's not the same relationship, right? Energy, when there's a problem, if you don't have energy, you're not going to solve it. And what happened, this is what's crazy. Since COVID, the level of energy for most people around the world has dropped massively. Not only has their attitude changed, people say, I don't want to go to work, and why should I have to do this? That's changed. But the energy itself, because sitting home for 3 years, basically, and sitting in front of a computer, you tend to get in your head. The more you get in your head, the less energy you have. Energy, emotion, energy and motion, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for joy, excitement, passion, love. Who wants all these things? Make some noise if that's the things that you're after. If you're low energy, how much passion, how much love? I know, I should probably do this AI shit. I know I should, right? So you have to train the energy, and right now we're like fish in water. I travel the whole earth, right? I do business now in 193 countries. So I've seen it not just in America, all over the world. We've dropped the standard of energy. Other than if you jump into athletics, like we own a piece of the Dodgers. I saw somebody right there. Sorry if you're from Toronto, but I'm one of the owners of the Dodgers, a great team. But in athletics, you still see the energy. In music, you feel the energy. In movies, you feel the energy. But in our daily lives, people see that. They go pay to get that energy from somebody else. You need it in you. Whether you like the President of the United States or not, you can't argue with the guy who has energy. I have some friends that went with them over to Asia just now, and they said, it's a 22-hour flight, and the freaking guy slept 2 hours, and he's up asking questions, telling people what we're going to do next, right? So whether you like him or not, you can't argue with his energy. Second, vision. If you look at anything, you have to look at AI and say, what do I want it for? What's my vision? What I love that Zach brought up to you is he told you what his mission's really about. What do you want AI for? Is it create greater quality of life? Is it save a ton of time? Is it make more money? Is it have more fun? Is it, really know things you never knew before? You need to be clear about what your vision is. In our country here in America, back when John F. Kennedy was here, he had a vision. He said, we're going to go to the moon and put a man on the moon in this decade and return to Earth safely. It sounded insane, but he knew it had to be done because if we didn't do it, it wasn't the Chinese we were worried about then, it was the Russians. And he thought they get an atomic bomb in space and we're dead. And so all of our scientists, everybody, not only had a goal, but here was the second piece of that vision. It had a tight timeline. See, a tight timeline changes everything. I'll give you an example. I've scaled businesses. That's why I have so many companies. I learned there are patterns to running a business. Just like you're going to learn how to use AI has patterns to expand a business or your personal life. Once you know those patterns, you can duplicate them and get greater and greater impact. Well, one of the secrets to making your business grow, and by the way, how many of you own a business? Just by a show of hands so I can see how many do own your own business out there. Okay, and how many of you are professional? You work for someone else, but you help lead a business of some sort. Great. Even if you don't own a business, I think like a business owner. And here's the number one thing you want to do is you want to grow a business. Another word for that is scale a business. I have a friend named Dr. Ben Hardy, and he wrote a book called The Science of Scaling. I highly recommend it. I wrote the introduction to it because it really lays out in a very simple format pretty much how I've grown everything in my life. Let me give you an example beyond business. So I told you, when I was 11 years old, we had no money and no food. And when I say no food, we had crackers and peanut butter. But it was Thanksgiving, which in America here, I know you're from all around the world right now, it's a big feasting holiday. So it was very depressing. My parents were yelling at each other, saying things you can't take back. And long story short, somebody came to the door and delivered, a stranger sent us food. I still don't know who did it. But 2 bags of groceries and uncooked turkey, frozen turkey that we could have. It was the most euphoric experience. My father did not like that. He felt it was charity and eventually left our family because he felt humiliated by the fact that he felt he hadn't taken care of us, which was not fair to him. He was going through a tough time. But for me, I focused on there's food, what a concept, and what changed my life is the meaning of that. The meaning of that gave me a vision for my life. I said, this means strangers do care. Because I live in an environment that didn't look like strangers cared. And I thought, if strangers care about me and my family, don't even want credit, then I need to care about strangers. And someday I'm going to feed 2 families, and then I got to 4, and then 8, and then I had a small company, and then eventually I got to 1 million people, and eventually I got to 2 million people, and then 4 million people. And then 11 years ago, I said, food is so needed right now. I know many of you know the SNAP program in the United States, where the government closed. People that are counting on for food right now have no food, or at least they have no money for food, or very little. And so I was like, the government back in 2010, 11, decided to cut food stamps, it's now called the SNAP program, by I think $6 billion. So I decided I want to do something on a larger scale. I got to really help. And so I called my office and said, how many people I fed in my lifetime? And it was 42 million people, which I was thrilled about. But then I thought, what if I scaled my giving like I've scaled my businesses? And what does that mean? It means you need some energy and you need some vision of what you really want and why you want it. But here's the secret. I said, okay, I'm gonna feed as many people in 1 year as I fed in my life. So I started with 42 million, 47 million. There's like 50 million. I was like, no, let me feed 100 million people in a year, even though I did only 42 million in a lifetime. That's a nice goal. Then when I fed 100 million a year for 10 straight years and did 1 billion meals, and I got so excited about it. And so here's the secret. Secret one to vision is you need something that seems an incredibly challenging goal, because that's what's gonna make you grow. A challenging goal, but at some level, some part of you knows it's possible. But the second thing is you need strong enough reasons to push through when it gets difficult. But the third step to this is the most important one. You need timing that makes you act now. The biggest mistake you can make in AI, and the reason we did this program, is to wait any longer to say, I'm gonna master it. I have my partner in the Dodgers. We're partners in the Golden State Warriors. We're partners in LAFC Football Club. He's at 52 Academy Award nominations. Dear friend of mine, his name's Peter Gerber. He's 83 years old. And we were talking about this about 4 months ago. And I said, I got to take my AIA to the next level. I want to coach. I want to go through details. He goes, Tony, I have 3 coaching sessions a week with 2 different young people on coaching AI. Because he goes, I know I need to know it. He's 83. That's why he's so successful at what he does. So around vision, you got to have what's your goal, why, and this compelling timeline. Well, when I said I'm going to feed 1 billion people in 10 years, that excited me. But here's the problem. If you say I'm going to do something in 10 years, what are you called to do today when you wake up? Nothing. So I said 1 billion in 10 years, that means 100 million meals this year. We only did 42 million in my lifetime. Well, what that does is it makes you have to use AI. It makes you think differently. It says, I can't do it the way I've done it. I have to do something completely differently. And when there's enough drive for it, it happens. So I'm proud to tell you, we delivered 1 billion meals in just 8 years. And as I mentioned, now we've done 62 billion meals in 3 years around the world, right? By scaling, taking it to another level, right? It starts to make you think differently. Like, it's like 62 billion meals. I'm so thrilled we've done it in 3 years. It seemed impossible. When we started, it was really rough. I went to the Fortune 500 group, Forbes 400, big dinner, biggest, wealthiest people in the world, gave them the pitch, brought, the head of the World Food Program to show people a child dies every 10 seconds. You guys can help. 3 people stepped up. 3. I'm like, this is not going to work too well. So now, guess what else we're doing? It makes you think. I was like, okay, I remember 40 years ago, 30 years ago, what was it? They had this song called We Are the World. How many remember the song We Are the World that they made way back then, right? And I said, I knew Michael Jackson was a friend of mine, Quincy Jones, Lionel Richie, they had all the greatest stars. They made this song to raise money for food in Africa. I said, we should do that. So right now, I've got Jimmy Jam as my partner. If you know Jimmy Jam, he's got the most #1 hits of anyone in history as a producer. He's on everybody from Michael Jackson to Beyonce. And we have the biggest names in the world. And on December 16th, we're going to do this new song. You all can participate. If you want to find out, we'll send a link to you. But you can write a lyric to it if you want, be a part of it. But then on Christmas Day, that song goes all over the earth, and that'll raise money for this. All this because you had energy and vision. Third piece. If you're going to be in a position where you're going to be successful, you have to become decisive. And I'm going to save the details of decision for our last day, because it's the most important thing. But here's what I want to tell you. If there's something you don't like in your life, whether it's your body or it's your income or it's your business or your lack of mastery of AI or how you're dealing with your kids, change it, because you can. You can change your body, you can change your mind, you can change your emotions, you can change your relationship, but you should probably change you first or you'll drag you to the next relationship. But if you make the change, that's how life gets better. And all change is fathered or mothered by decision. And most people are not decisive. They think about it, they feel it. So I'm gonna walk you through how to make a decision powerfully and quickly with AI or without AI on our last day. So I'm gonna leave it for now for there. But decisiveness, if you don't make decisions, you're not gonna make any progress. You're gonna think about it. Thinking about it, did any of you read the old book, Think and Grow Rich? Anybody read that original personal development book? Well, in it has a chapter on decision. I read it when I was 17, and in the chapter it said something that's still true today, that all the research shows that people that are successful make decisions quickly from the gut, And those that fail make decisions very slowly. People make them quickly and they don't change them. The people that fail make decisions slowly and usually change them often. So we'll talk about that later on. But you understand, how many get stressed out being around somebody who can't make a freaking decision? Make some noise if you've had that experience, right? Even if you go to, some people can't make a decision for what they're gonna have dinner tonight. You're sitting and the waitress is like waiting and waiting, and they don't do it till they're about to get punched, you know? So we want to change that. Fourth, those people that are creators take massive action and they create momentum. And when I say that is most people wait. Like, I know many of you feel like, well, I don't know where to start. Well, we're here to guide you. We're giving you these 3 days at no charge. If you want to go for 30 days and learn a little bit each day and maximize it, great. If you're an expert and you want to go to a higher level, we can show you that too. But the point is, you got to get started now. My kids all the time, they say, Dad, well, when do you think? And I'd say, when would now be a good time, right? Now is the watchword of my life, because most people try and wait till they know everything till they make a decision. You know, I interviewed 50 of the greatest investors in the world: Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, Carl Icahn, Paul Tudor Jones. And when I interviewed all these people for Money Master the Game, one of the things I learned was they said that some of the smartest people in the world are terrible investors. And I said, why? That doesn't even make sense. And they said, because they want to know everything about something before they make a decision. They want to know everything about it. They want to know, by the time you know everything, the opportunity is gone, they said. So you have to learn to take action, and then what they say in Tech Valley, iterate. Try something, see if it works. If it doesn't, change it. Try it again, see if it works, change it. Keep changing to get what you work, and when you start getting what works, you'll get momentum. And momentum makes it so that getting results is easier than when you don't have momentum. It's like getting a rocket outside of our environment here, the gravitation of the Earth takes a huge amount of energy. The amount of energy it takes to get it out of the solar system is quite small because it has momentum. Hardest part of working out is to get into the gym, right? You're like, I gotta build some muscle, but once you get there and go, you get momentum. In a relationship, getting across the room and ask somebody out, that's the hardest part. Then momentum starts to happen. So massive action and momentum. And then finally, number 5, relentlessness. There is no replacement for somebody who will not give up. You know, I don't care. I was just reading, Rockefeller wrote a book to his son. Well, not a book, it's a book of his letters to his son. And you look at Rockefeller, and he had a lot of qualities I wouldn't necessarily aspire to, but his level of incredible drive and success, he said to his son over and over through these letters, there's one common theme. He said, there's only one person that can make you fail, and that's you by quitting. If you are relentless, if you will persist, persistence is more powerful than anything else. It's more important than intelligence, because how many of you know an intelligent person, super intelligent person, but they can't fight their way out of a paper bag in their business or their relationship? Make some noise if you can relate to this, right? You have the one thing that I know, because people ask me this all over the world. They say, you meet all these people, you work with the best in business and coaching and athletes. What is the common denominator? What's the one quality that makes somebody extraordinarily successful? And early on in my life, I thought it's extreme intelligence. Because by the way, AI is extreme intelligence. But it needs the magic recipe called you. I loved what Zach had said earlier. I wrote it down. AI is the brush of human potential is the masterpiece. What a beautiful and honest direction of that. You, everyone has access to AI. What's going to make a difference is you. You with energy, you with vision, you with decisiveness, you willing to take action and get momentum, you not giving up and being relentless. That's what's going to get you from wherever you are to where you really want to be. And so I really believe for anyone, we can make the changes necessary. We can get where we really want to go. But here's what you need real fast. If you ask me, Tony, what took you from survival, not having food for your own family, to feeding 62 billion? What took you from, broke and can't even run one company successfully to 114 doing 10 billion? What's taking you from being frustrated all the time to having this incredible life, 5 kids, 5 grandkids? I have a 51-year-old daughter. And thanks to COVID, I have a 4-year-old daughter. COVID was good to me. So I have quite a range. All these businesses, all this stuff, my body, my mission, my life, how do you do all that? And how have you accomplished that? With 3 skills. And these 3 skills were kind of echoed through different speakers if you were listening. So I want to just bring it down to this fundamental 30,000 foot. This is what it takes to get what you want. I think about this because, my daughter is 4.5. I've got 5 grandkids. I think I'm fine, but they're entering a world in the next 5, 10, 15 years that is so beyond anything any of us could predict. It's beyond what you can imagine. And many of the jobs are gonna go away. How can I guarantee that my grandkids, my daughter, even my elder kids, can succeed no matter what happens in the environment? And it's because if you learn these 3 skills, and they're so fundamental. Skill number 1, you have to get great at pattern recognition. You've heard some people say this word, pattern recognition. What is pattern recognition? Well, the way we get out of fear and we get into a place where we're able to anticipate a challenge and solve it before it happens, the way we get out of living in stress is we start to realize the things that are stressing us out are a pattern. Do you know there are patterns of what you do, what you think about, how you breathe, what you do with your body to piss yourself off or to get frustrated, get stressed, and it's a totally different pattern of what you do if you're feeling joyous or excited. Try something simplistic right now. Just for fun, just right now, in your chair, wherever you're in the world, how many of you like to sing when there's no one around? How many like to sing when no one's around? How many like to sing even though you don't sound very good at all, right? Well, it's because when we change the way we move, we change our energy, we change the way we feel. So I want you to try something at home and just go for it. If no one else is around, and if they are, who cares, right? I want you just for a second to put yourself in a state of total excitement, but I want you to use your voice. Make the sound of excitement, move your body with excitement for just 10 seconds. Ready? Go. Total excitement. Run, go, 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 go. That's it. Come on, come on. Come on, show the people on the screen. That's it. Wake them up. That's it. Come on, Patricia. You got it. That's it. That's it. That's it for you. Nice job, Danny. Yes. Now, how many feel pretty good right now? Say aye. Say aye. Awesome. Now, try this. Sit the way you sit when you feel bored and tired. Bored and tired. Maybe bored, tired, and a little pissed off about it. Now, first of all, I want you to notice I didn't have to tell you where to go. You knew exactly where to go to get in this state. But I want you to notice what's different about it. Now go back to totally excited just for a second. Totally excited just for a second. Come on, totally excited. Make some noise while you're doing it. There you go. You're going for it there, Shelly. Yes. So I just want you to notice there's a pattern to what you do with your body when you're excited that's different than when you're depressed or bored. Where were your shoulders when you were bored and tired? Where'd they go? Down. Where'd your head go? Down. Were you talking more loud or quiet then? Probably pretty quiet. Now, where did it go when you're excited? What happened to your shoulders immediately? They come back. Where'd your head go? Up. What happened to sound? Did you get louder or quieter? A lot louder, right? How many did a lot of movement when you were excited as well, right? So, as overly simplistic as this is, if I said to you there was the depressed person behind curtain number 1 over here, and I give you $100,000 if you describe the pattern in their body, their posture, how many could do it? Raise your hand if you could do it. Put in the chat box, where would their shoulders be if they're depressed? Where would their head be? Would they be breathing full or shallow? Would they be speaking loud or quiet? Would they be speaking fast or slow? And if you look in the chat box, everybody knows, shoulders down, head down, slow, talking quiet, right? You know it. How do you know? Because you've practiced this crap before, haven't you? Right? So here's my point. If you recognize patterns, you create freedom. And what we're going to do the next couple of days, today was kind of preparing you, set you up, give you the philosophy, the approach, hopefully make it something that's comfortable for you, show you some of the tools that are coming. We'll get a little more aggressive tomorrow and even more on the third day. If you're more advanced today, you may know some of these things, but knowing them and applying them is also a very useful thing. But I want you to remember, you are the secret sauce. You as the creator, you're not going to be replaced by an AI. You'll be replaced by someone who knows how to use AI, who's learned how to maximize themselves. How many buy that? How many agree with that? Make some noise if you do, right? So pattern recognition is the first step. In fact, if you want to know what changed humanity from survival, where we were hunter-gatherers running around trying to find enough food, to people who could stay in one place and build a family, build a community, build countries, dominate the earth, for better or worse. The one pattern recognition was seasons. Before we recognized seasons, we would plant at any time, and 3 out of 4 times of the year you planted, it didn't work. In fact, if you don't understand patterns, you can do the right thing at the wrong time, and what do you get? Nothing. Pain. So part of why we're doing this with AI right now is this is the right time for you to step in. A little sooner than this, some things weren't refined enough. A little bit later, probably going to get passed up. So you got to know the timing to do something. You got to see the pattern. And by the way, when you hear people say things that they're stressed about, like, oh my God, the country is so divided here in America, you know, the Republicans and Democrats, there's going to be a civil war. Anybody who says that's an idiot because they've never studied history, which is a pattern. I'll give you a quick example. Here's what the two of the early founders of America said about each other. Now, they didn't have attack ads in those days. They had placards that they posted everywhere. These are actual placards. And so this is Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. So Adams didn't want you to pick Thomas Jefferson, so he made this placard that says, if you elect Thomas Jefferson, murder, rape, incest, robbery, and adultery will be practiced throughout the land. Are you prepared to see your dwellings in flames, your female chastity violated, or the children writhing from the pike? And so, sure enough, you know, Jefferson put out his ads on John Adams. He said, he's busy importing mistresses from Europe or trying to marry one of his daughters to King George, which would be like marrying the devil in those days. He goes, he's a hideous, hermaphroditical character with neither the force or firmness of a man nor the gentleness and sensibility of a woman. Now, this makes Republicans and Democrats seem nice to each other, right? It's a very different place. History is cyclical. So the minute you see a pattern, I'll give you one last example. How many of you have more than one child? More than one child. Make some noise or give me a thumbs up if you're, yeah, there we go. Okay. How many of you, I know you don't have a favorite child, but how many have an easier child? Make some noise if you have an easier child, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. And you know what? What makes them easier is they're more like you. So you know their patterns. You can influence them better. What would work for you, you work on that child and they clean their room. The other one says read between the lines or something interesting, right? So the first step is to recognize patterns. And every great business person, every great artist, every great musician learns to recognize what works. Second step, very quickly, is pattern utilization. It's one thing to recognize a pattern. It's another to start to use it. When you start using the pattern, not just noticing it, now you have power. It's one thing to say, oh, I know AIA is out there and I can search things really quickly and I maybe get my document done like we saw today. Well, that's nice. But that's not really using it. We're going to show you how to create basically your digital twin, your clone, or I prefer even a clone. I want something more than me, my personal AI genius, my AI partner that knows everything about me and I can bounce ideas off and get refinement in seconds that might take half a year, 5 years, a decade to get to. That's what we're leading you towards to give you a sense that can be done. So our bottom line here is if we use the pattern, if you look at somebody like Warren Buffett, he not only knows the pattern, he uses it. He knows when everybody is fearful, he gets greedy. He starts buying things up because when they're fearful, he knows the fear is reducing the price. He knows over the long term where the stock market's gonna go, so he buys. When everybody's euphoric, he gets fearful. He sells, right? He doesn't just know the pattern, he uses it. If you know someone's a great musician or a great movie producer, Spielberg, he knows exactly if he moves the camera in slowly like this or more rapidly like that, if he changes he knows exactly what emotion he's going to produce in you. He knows not only what the patterns are, he uses them. That's why he's made movies for 40 years successfully. So you want to learn to use them. And then the third pattern, of course, is pattern creation. This is where some of you that are more advanced are already starting to move in the direction of. This is how my life got to where it is. Like, I went around, I'll give you an example. 10 years ago, a little more than that, I guess 12, 13 years ago, around 2008, whenever the hell I was, losing track of time, I noticed something insane. People were losing their 401ks, people were freaking out, the economy was going through the floor, and there were a small number of people that were making a fortune. they almost destroyed the world economic system. And the way we punished them is we gave them more of our money. This made me crazy. And I thought somebody's gonna do something. So nothing really changed. So I said, you know what? I don't have ultimate power, but I have one power, the power to convene. I have access to some of the smartest people on earth. What if I interviewed 50 of those people and I figure out they're all different? Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, Carl Icahn, Paul Tudor Jones, the best investors on earth, all self-made billionaires, nobody from the Lucky Sperm Club, they all earned it, right? And I said, I'm gonna interview them, even though they're different. Some of them are macro traders and some of them are value traders. I'm gonna look at everything they're doing and I'm gonna notice there's a pattern that got them from where they are to where they wanna be. And after doing 50 of them, the pattern was so clear. And I wrote a book. I said, I want to write a book that my billionaire clients will be blown away by and that someone just starting the journey would go by. And Money Master Game became the #1 New York Times bestseller, and it's still the #1 best-selling financial book of this century. Now, the century's only 25 years old, but still pretty cool. It wasn't because I was so smart. It's because I went and found out what already works. I studied the pattern, and then I figured how to use the pattern. Well, after doing this long enough, if you play the way you learn music, play a piano, is you recognize a pattern, you learn to play someone else's pattern, Mozart, a pop star, whoever. But if you play enough, there's a day where you wake up and you know enough that now you create patterns. When you create patterns, that's how I got to going from not managing one company, but 116. That's how I went from I can't pay the bills, I can't even get to $1 million in revenue, to 10 billion in revenue. Right? That's how you go from I can't feed myself to, hey, how can I solve these problems for people around the world? It comes from recognizing the pattern, using it, modeling what you've used, and then gradually you're going to get to where you create. And that's the target of where we are. So, is this helpful in terms of understanding your thought process? I hope it is for you, right? So I just want you to think of it this way. Anyone can learn the patterns. You just need somebody to walk you through it. And what I'm really good at is taking really complex stuff and simplifying it and putting it into small chunks. And today we're just trying to prepare you. Tomorrow now we're gonna go deep and show you what we're gonna do to grow your business in marketing and sales and real tools to do that. And then our third day, we're gonna show you how to just automate like crazy, how to use agents, how to build software where you describe it and you get a product or a result. In fact, the people that are coming from Uplet, 18 months ago, they were struggling. They got some of our stuff, started turning things around, hung on. Now they're worth $3 billion 18 months later. I mean, so there's quite a path we have there, and you don't want to miss anything. Tomorrow you'll meet my friend Mark Benioff, who built from 0 to 42 billion, right? And show you how he's doing it in his company right now. So we've got simple stuff, medium level stuff, and some complex stuff. And if it's complex, sometimes it's complex, you just don't know the words. Like lawyers have a lot of power because they have words you don't have. That's how they control you, right? Up until ChatGPT and other things that can translate it for you. The same thing true in medicine. Like you read in the newspaper or you read in a magazine or someplace that the third biggest cause of death in America is called iatrogenic causes. Most people don't know what that is. Iatrogenic means doctor, physician, or hospital induced. Right? Now, I'm not saying negative about doctors, but that is the third biggest cause. So when you don't have the words, you get overwhelmed. We'll translate this, and it's kind of like, I'm a helicopter pilot. When I first learned to fly a plane, you learn how to listen for the codes and everything else and what to do. But when you get on with a helicopter pilot, they talk in shorthand, and it's hard to even understand what they're saying at the tower. And when I first did, it's like, how are they understanding it? Well, after a while, you realize there's only so many things they can say. And your brain starts to recognize the pattern unconsciously, and you just start using it. All of a sudden, what was really difficult becomes easy. It's like driving a stick-shift car. In the beginning, when you're a kid, I'm gonna do this and this and this and watch the road too. It's never gonna work, right? But today, you drive your car, and hopefully you're not texting, but chewing gum, thinking about other things, doing all kinds of things simultaneously. That's what AI can become for you, but it requires one thing: make a decision. Give it the energy and decide I'm gonna commit. And just at least commit for these next 2 days, show up fully to really go for this. Because the sky's the limit if you wanna do this. I'm gonna give you one last little gift if you're up for it. Who's up for a little tool that make you feel great inside, right? I will say to you, I don't know if you know the statistic, I was just reading this yesterday. Did you know that in the last 2 years, over 100 companies have been created from nothing to $1 billion using AI? That's more than one a week. more people became billionaires off AI companies in the last 2 years than in 20 years of the internet. Now, I'm not saying you want to be a billionaire, but it should show you what the incredible capacity is. Now, what'll hold you back, what holds everybody back, is stacking negative experiences. Let me explain. Have you ever, said something or done, have you ever been with someone, maybe your kid or someone else, and they did something and they did it again, and then finally you just lost it on them? You may have felt bad about it, but you overreacted. Who's ever overreacted to somebody out there? Make some noise if you have. Well, you didn't overreact on that moment. You overreacted because it happened again. Who knows what I'm talking about here? That's what we call stacking. If you know, give me a little noise so I know you got it, okay? Well, today we live in a world where things are happening so fast at us. Challenges, like in your pocket now, you don't have to pursue the news. It comes to you in your social media. It comes to you in your text. It comes through you through your Slacks. It comes through you. It's everywhere. And we learn about things in microseconds that in your lifetime you would never have learned about in a previous stage. So we're inundated. And the news, they're not bad people. They're doing their job. Their job is to make money for their shareholders. You can only make money for your shareholders if people pay attention. They get paid for your attention. That's why they write those headlines that have nothing to do with the article, right? Clickbait, because the minute you click on it, they get paid. That's why they have such negative news. That's why they say when it bleeds, it leads on the news. But when you stack so much negativity, you start to get overwhelmed. It actually changes your biochemistry. So I want to show you real fast, it'll take just a couple minutes, how you can not only unstack. Who's ever felt stuck? Like a problem you really couldn't solve, you're frustrated, make some noise, you know what I'm talking about there, right? Here's what we're gonna do. I want to show you something. I'd like you to stand up if you would, because I want you to get this in your body. Just shake your body out a little bit, stand up. Stand up. If you can, adjust your camera so I can see you. If you can't, it's okay. I'm looking at the middle of your powerful chest. It's okay, right? So here's what I want you to do. Shake your body out a little bit just so you feel good. And just once again, make a sound that makes you feel great. Just make a sound that makes you feel great. Nice and loud, strong. Do it strong. That's it. Come on, do it strong. Okay, stay standing. Here's what I want to show you. I'll put it up on the screen for you. There's a group called HeartMath. Has anybody heard of HeartMath before? Anybody out there? They were nominated for Nobel Prize for learning something about how our hearts and our brains work together. Now, you see on the screen here, this is an actual person, and it looks technical. But you know, if you go to your doctor, we can measure the electrical activity in your heart and in your brain, your EEG and your EKG. So if you look at this chart, this is a human being, a real person. The top one is when this person is in a state of frustration. They're frustrated about whatever they're frustrated about. Can't master this AI, my kid won't do this, my business is like that. But in a state of frustration, you'll see the red lines, that's the heart, the blue line, that's the brain. And what do you notice when you look at the pattern? Well, the first thing you notice is everything's pretty jagged up and down, kind of a rough ride. But secondly, you'll notice there's no alignment between the brain and heart. When that happens, you get in what we call a stupid state. This is where you say things in your relationship that you will wish you had not said before. This is when you'll lose it over stupid things. This is when people get in car accidents because their brain and heart aren't connected. Who's ever been in a state where you couldn't remember your own cell phone number or how to spell a difficult word like the? Who knows what I'm talking about here, right? Right? How many of you also have had the opposite, which I'd call a flow state, where something just flowed through you, the idea, you're playing a game, sport, tennis, whatever, and everything just flowed perfectly, so much so that you impressed yourself, like, that was me, right? Who's had this experience? Make some noise if you've impressed yourself, right? Okay, good. Well, that flow state is what you'll see at the bottom of the page, and this same person moved from the top, frustration, to the bottom where you'll notice in a state of appreciation or love or gratitude, something instantly happens within 2 minutes. Like within 2 minutes, the heart and the brain become one, and you notice it's not jagged anymore because now you're in a flow state. And in that flow state, you'll say the right thing. In that flow state, you feel great. In that flow state, you can find the solution. So I want to show you how this actually works. It'll literally take us 2 minutes. So shake your body out, and then I want you to think of I want you to think of some unfinished business you may have. When I say unfinished business, I mean think of something that you've been putting off dealing with because you got so much going on in your life. You don't want to think about that too because it make it too stressful. Maybe it's something you got to deal with in your business or your kids or your body or your relationship, and just like it needs to be done, but I'm not doing it right now. Raise your hand or give me a thumbs up if you're in the group that's on the chat, if you can think of something where you have some unfinished business out there. Make some noise if you got it. Okay? So now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make sure you pick something that if you focused on it, it would add a lot of stress, not a little. So if we measured it 0 to 10, where 10 is stressed out of your mind and 0 is not stressed at all, I want you to pick something that if you really focused on it right now, it would probably be a 7, 8, or 9 of stress, not a 1 or 2, because if it's a 1 or 2 and we change it, you barely notice. So give me a thumbs up or give me some noise if you can think of something that would be 7, 8, or 9, all right? Awesome. So now forget about that problem for a second, and all I want you to do is this. You probably know wherever your focus goes, energy flows. So I want you to try something. Put both your hands on your heart. And as you're touching your heart, I want you to breathe deeply in your heart. You can close your eyes if that's helpful for your focus. And just as you touch your heart, physically touch your heart and breathe into it, like where you feel the oxygen and the blood flowing into it. And just feel how good it feels to feel the strength of your heart. The joy of your heart. The power of your heart. That's it. Breathe deep into that space. And as you put your focus in your heart, breathe deep in your heart, we're going to think of 3 moments in your life you could feel really grateful for. But we're not going to think about them like if you thought of being on a roller coaster and you remembered it way over in the distance. We're going to imagine like going over the edge of the roller coaster in our body as it's happening. Only instead of the roller coaster, it's going to be a moment in your life of real gratitude or real appreciation or joy. You're going to give yourself that gift. You're going to step in your body as you were then. So I want you to think of a moment in your life you could feel incredibly grateful for if you wanted to right now. It could have been 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 days ago, 2 minutes ago. It could be big or small, but just something that if you focused on it and went back in your body and saw what you saw then, heard what you heard then, felt what you felt then, it would feel incredible. You'd feel that gratitude. Maybe it's the birth of a child, or the day you started a business, or a breakthrough you created, or the time you met a friend. Any moment that's special for you that would be like a blessed moment. That's it. And then step in your body as you were then, and look through your own eyes and see what you saw then when you felt so grateful or so appreciative or so loved or so joyful. That's it. That's it. Good, good, good. Hear what you heard then. If someone said something to you, or if you said something in your own mind when it felt so good, so grateful. Breathe the way you were breathing then when you felt so grateful. That's it. So grateful. Feel like every cell, every nerve in your body now is bathing in that sense of gratitude. And why are we putting gratitude in our body? Because the 2 emotions that screw up your business and your personal life are fear and anger. Did you ever notice you can't be fearful while you're grateful? You can't be angry while you're grateful. This is the antidote. Breathe it in, step into that moment, and just feel so thankful for that moment, like it's happening again right now. Perfect. Now we're going to stack it. I want you to think of a second moment you could feel grateful now. A second moment, anytime in your life, years ago, days ago, hours ago, doesn't matter, big or small, but something else you could feel so grateful for that moment. And step into that moment now. Step into your body like you're there. See what you saw through your own eyes when you felt so grateful. Hear what you heard. Breathe the way you were breathing then now. What's the look on your face when you're filled with gratitude? That's it. That's it. Good, good. You're doing great. That's it. Flood your body with that feeling so it feels like every cell, every nerve is bathed in that gratitude. Beautiful job. Beautiful. And now finally bring up a third moment you could feel grateful for. Third moment that you could just feel like, that was such a great moment. I'm so grateful for that moment. could be something little or big. When you're ready, step in your body again and see that moment like you're there. Hear what was being said or what you said to yourself. Breathe the way you're breathing when you're filled with appreciation or gratitude or love. That's it. What's your face like when you're filled with gratitude? That's it. And now feel all three of these moments at once in your body. Imagine all three of them stacked together. All of it, like your whole body and your whole being is filled with it. And then now, while your eyes are still closed, reach your right hand out as if you were getting another memory. But this one is a memory where you're proud of yourself. You felt proud because you accomplished something, you pushed through. Bring that into your heart, and as it touches your heart, say, yes. That's it, good. And step into that moment like it's happening again when you felt proud. Because you broke through, because you made something happen. Reach out and grab another moment you were proud, a moment of achievement. It could be little or big. I was one of the 10 Lords of Leaping in the first grade plate. I was proud. I work with the President of the United States. I was proud. Bring that one in, yes. And feel it as well. And then reach out and get a loving moment with family or friends, a moment you enjoyed with family or friends, and bring that in, yes. And stack them on top of each other. Now find a funny moment. Did you ever laugh so hard shit came out your nose inappropriately? Did you ever laugh so hard you couldn't stop laughing? Bring a funny moment in. Reach out and go, yes, and bring that in. Bring in a romantic or sensual moment of your life. Or if you've never had one, make one up, yes. Right? And then reach out and grab a moment of excitement in your life, a moment that excited you so much. Now imagine you're getting a trailer of your future from the universe or God, and see a moment in the future you're going to be proud of yourself, and bring that moment in, yes. That's it. Bring a moment in the future where you're going to accomplish something, yes. Bring in a beautiful moment with family and friends in the future, yes. That's it. Now, bring in another moment, this time sometime that's going to make you laugh in the future about something. Bring in an essential moment from your future and say yes. Now bring in as many moments as you can over the next 10 seconds. Go, one after another, just stack them. You can do it, Tanya. That's it, I'm watching you, Tanya Nandari. Good job, Patricia. Take them in, yes. Bring in as many as you can, like it's a game. You can do it, Michael Ramsey, I'm watching. Good job, Jennifer Robinson. Nice, Halgar. Good job, Nadine Stanley. Pour them all in, one after another, after another, after another, after another. Bring them all in, that's it. Bring them in, so bring it to a near peak. And at the peak, I want you to make a sound as loud as you can. Extend your body like you're feeling your life. 1, 2, 3. Make the sound of what your life feels right now. Make the sound of it. Make that sound of it, that's it. Extend your arms up and feel it. Feel it all, that's it, feel it all. Breathe it, experience it. Do it one more time, make the sound again even stronger, go! Go, that's it, that's it, that's it. Perfect, perfect. Now, take that feeling into your heart. Bring that feeling back in your heart, in you, as you. This is the real you. When you get stuck, it's because your mind and body are not connected. Your brain and heart are, but they're connected now. And you didn't fake things. These are real memories of yours. How many remembered some things you haven't thought about for a very long time? Make some noise if you did. Yeah. Now, let's use it. Oh my gosh, I'm way over on my time. Okay, let's use it. Grab your heart, touch your heart, stay in that feeling state. And now we're going to use it. Think of the problem that you were dealing with, that unfinished business. But don't feel stressed. Feel the same energy in your heart. And now from your heart, answer this question about that old stressful situation. In your heart, just answer this question. Finish this sentence. All they need to remember about that, all they need to focus on, all they really need to do is what? All I need, touch your heart and ask yourself, all I need to remember about that situation, all I need to focus on, all I really need to do is what? And your heart has the answer, doesn't it? All I need to remember, all I need to focus on, all I need to do is what? Raise your right hand if you've got the answer to solve your problem, your challenge right now. Raise your right hand nice and high. That's it. Make some noise if it feels great inside to have that answer, ladies and gentlemen. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. That's it, that's great, that's great. That's it, that's it. Good, good, good. Give everybody a hand. Beautiful job, beautiful job. Yes. I just want you to remember, if you bring energy, if you will bring vision, if you'll bring some decisiveness, you'll take action, if you'll be relentless, the world is yours. But you got to stack the good. You got to remember, you're the secret sauce, not AI. Use AI. Don't let AI use you. We're going to have 2 more beautiful days, but just to finish up, welcome back my dear buddy and partner, Dean.
Love you. All right. What that exercise of stacking is something you should use for the rest of your life. I've watched Tony do that so many times, and I was back there stacking because we all go through that. Today, I hope you see this was the day to set the foundation. Some of you think, I would like more detail. You can turn that music down. Some of you are looking for more detail to go deeper. Some of you, this was a little above. I promise you, today was the foundation to give you the pieces so the next 2 days can show you how to implement this into your life. Tomorrow, we have an unbelievable day planned. I mean, today you had Zach setting it up with context. I thought it was so powerful. Igor sharing, and then we went into AIA, that was next level. Tomorrow is where we make it real. Tomorrow is where we bring all of this together. We're going to show you exactly how to apply that current and future brand, how to enhance the brand you want to start, how to enhance the marketing that you currently have. But before you show up tomorrow, and I'd put it in your calendar, don't be a minute late. We have Mr. Arthur Brooks coming. We have Sabrina Romanoff. If you don't know Arthur Brooks, he's science-based to show you how AI can make you happier, can make you more fulfilled in your life in a way that'll blow your mind. Sabrina, I've never met anybody in my life that understands how to explode your brand by using simple strategies in AI. It will be a tactical takeaway. If you want more followers, more people, more marketing, more community, you have to be here tomorrow. But here's what I'd love for you to do tonight, to light this up. We do these events for free. We do these events after we realize there's a need. All of us need more time. All of us need more leverage. And all of us are a little overwhelmed by AI. Our job is to get rid of that. But we do these for free to support you. So I'd love for you to have a little homework tonight. If you'd like, go to the AI Advantage community. It's at aiadvantage.com/community. If you want to write that down, you're going to meet all the other people that are in this group. And all I'd love for you to do is just go there and share your biggest takeaway or your biggest win today. Was it something Tony shared? Was it something Ali shared? Was it something Zach shared? Or maybe Igor, or something we talked about in the beginning, and just share and start the community. Like someone else's comment. Support someone else who is brave enough to share, and let's keep this momentum alive. Again, tomorrow, Dr. Arthur Brooks, Sabrina Romanoff, and Tony is going to interview Mark Benioff. It's going to blow your mind, because that's a man whose company is doing over $40 billion a year, but knows how to bring it down to the average person to show you how to excel. It's going to be so good. We've only just begun. This journey is going to be an absolute blast. Thank you for all the beautiful comments today. Thank you for showing up. Most people talk, but most people don't do the work, and you're here. Don't miss a moment. We can't wait to see you tomorrow. Be here right on time, 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Have a good night.